skirt.
Plus, I could win up to $2 million in cash.
And that explains the tuxedo.
I'm chafing.
Feel the rush with new Ultimate Dash scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.78. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
From the Ingalls Studios, this
live from the Ingalls Studio.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, join us in the chat. It is another day of prognostications from Flostradamus Jeremy Greene. NFL draft around the corner, rumors flying about picks being traded. We've got the Jermaine Johnson all-defensive team for the 2024 NFL draft.
He a dog. I even wore a Jet shirt, which I never do.
No.
Just to celebrate the fantastic prognostication that was Jermaine Johnson.
Yes. Flostradamus's I like them better than the industry lists. The Amon-Ra St. Brown offensive team was released yesterday. Today, the defensive team, the Jermaine Johnson list. We'll have that for you coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. Last night, congratulations to the UConn Huskies.
Yeah, if you, I'm just going to be really honest with you. If you didn't wager that on DraftKings Sportsbook, that's on you, bro. Because I tried my best to tell you as often as I could.
Yes.
Zach Edey, it's cool. He scored 343 points. He gave up 378 points.
Mm-hmm. That he did. Nobody else could score for Purdue. And once again, UConn wins the national championship. 6th time in 25 years that they've won a national title. It's the youngest blue blood that we have, but they're quickly becoming one of the best ever.
I would say right now they're the best basketball program in college basketball. No shot I would even listen to Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
No shot I would even listen to UCLA. Duke and Carolina, I mean, I hate to break your heart. You would trade what Connecticut has right now for what you have. They have the best coach in the country.
Yeah, they have the coach.
And they have the culture. They are the new blue blood, and they are the best of the blue bloods right now.
Yes.
And I'll be honest with you, I may have taken some of my winnings on the DraftKings Sportsbook and just gone ahead and put that on UConn for next year.
Just stash it away for next year.
I forgot that I did that. I forgot that I did that with a couple teams last year, and none of them were UConn.
I mean, they did. They did immediately get installed as the favorites next year,
as they should. But they lost. Yeah, what'd they lose this year?
Plus 900.
That's fine. I like 9xing my money. I also love Dan Hurley taking shots at Kentucky the minute he got on the podium. Like, my wife didn't like us being in Rhode Island. What do you think she's gonna say about Kentucky?
Yeah, no,
pass.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Back-to-back national championships with UConn. He is building a dynasty, he says.
I would say he's already built one, but potato. Did
Billy Donovan build a dynasty in 2 years at Florida?
Well, I mean, Billy Donovan, you knew his career in Florida had 1 foot in the grave, 1 foot on a banana peel, because he was looking at every other job that would talk to him. You remember when he was the Magic coach for an hour?
Yep.
I don't feel that way about Dan Hurley.
No.
You hate him just because of his last name.
Of course I do. Screw that guy.
He didn't do it.
I don't care.
Did it.
I don't care. He's got that same stupid face, doesn't he? Yeah, he does.
No,
all the Hurleys look the same, and one has offended me, and I shall hold it against the father and the brothers.
Yeah, I don't really.
He's a great coach. You can't deny what he's built at UConn. Just because I hate his stupid face doesn't mean that I don't respect what he does as a coach.
He's the best coach in the country.
Yes, and I don't think it's really all that close.
Havoc in the YouTube chat said probably got less ratings than the women's game.
It no doubt did.
I was about to say, I don't know. Your use of the word probably and my use of the word definitely seem to be simpatico. The women's game was the highest rated basketball game in the history of ESPN. I will struggle to believe that on PBS, that's where we've gotten in college basketball, your championship game goes to the other Turner Broadcasting Network.
Yes.
You're a year away from it being on True.
I don't know that it'll be that bad, but
that's not really that much of a step down.
What?
Well, you had it on TBS this year. I mean, I didn't say it was going to be on the fishing network. True
TV's pretty close.
True and TBS don't have that much.
When you're showing the national championship between reruns of Practical Jokesters, yeah, I think you've hit an all-time low.
Well, they showed it last night in between reruns of Friends. So
hey, at least that was a great show.
One of them was at least made in this millennia. The other was not.
That just because it's newer doesn't make it better.
Oh, I didn't say it was better.
Okay,
I just said it was at least it may not be a rerun. It may actually be new.
Maybe it is.
Patrick Holt asked why wasn't it on CBS like usual. Well, because CBS could not be bothered to move three shows that I have never heard of, including one that has the guy from Mike and Molly, who apparently went on the same diet that Tank did, and now looks like Robert Goulet.
Yeah, Bob Hart's Abishola. I've never seen the show. I've just seen it constantly on the
what's it called?
Feed. Bob Hart's Abishola.
Billy Cardell now looks like Bob Hart's your grandma at the nursing home, because that dude looks like he is slinging $2 bills at the nursing home. And that mustache, I'm going to need you to do something about that, bro.
Yep.
That is horror awful.
Mustaches usually are. It's pretty much always been a rule, right? Unless you're Tom Selleck
or Burt Reynolds.
Just stop with the mustache. Yeah, Burt Reynolds.
Don't ever do that. Or my dad. Yeah, my dad he's also a mustache man.
Or Ravishing Rick Rude.
Yes. Those are acceptable mustaches. Outside of that, no.
No. Just don't even bother.
And just for point of reference, the reason I brought that up was to make that Bob Goulet joke, because anytime I can get that name on the show, I'm gonna. And because we did this when we found out that the game was on TBS, of what exactly is it that you can't move for this game? Yeah. And when I found out what it was, I laughed a lot.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, Matthew Hoffman, Sam Elliott. Yeah, Sam Elliott also.
Yes.
That's also legendary.
Good call.
I forgot to tell you this. Mm-hmm. I just watched both Roadhouses.
Okay.
I had never seen the
original?
I'd never seen the first one.
Okay. I'm going to hate this. I'm going to hate this take, whatever it is.
What about me makes you think I would have seen Roadhouse? The only reason I watched the second one is because my wife started it, and it took 30 minutes for me to figure out what it was.
I don't know. A movie with a whole bunch of fighting, a whole lot of drinking, and a whole bunch of nudie girls. Why wouldn't you have ever seen that movie?
Well, I mean, because half the women in that movie are probably dead. So, sorry. You got nudie boobs from before I was birthed.
Any movie that has Terry Funk in it, you have to watch.
I did see Terry Funk and immediately went, is that Terry Funk? My wife went, yeah. I went, you don't know who Terry Funk is?
Yes, she does. Your wife's cool. She knows what the deal is.
She is cool. She also had zero clue who Terry Funk was.
Oh,
I don't know who she thought that was, but it was not who she thought it was. Okay. And yes, just so you know, both of those movies, horror awful. The new one is worser than the old one, but the old one is bad. The only thing that saved it was Sam Elliott just being Sam Elliott, because he's cool.
That is a classic flick.
Coors.
You will take that back.
The Banquet Beer.
Further evidence that you don't know what you're talking about.
I think I do.
Nah.
Yeah, you lost me at Patrick Swayze as a badass. Don't buy it.
He's the original badass.
Yeah. He was also the goofy dude from Ghost. So, kind of like Cody Rhodes is your champion. I kind of look at that the same way as Patrick Swayze.
Well, you know, it's not a perfect world, okay?
There you go.
You know?
9 minutes, we still haven't gotten into the A topic yet. because we just went down a bunny hole.
Well, I mean, look, you gotta tip your cap to the champs. Congratulations to the women for setting another record with their 18.7 million average viewership on Sunday afternoon.
The women's game is past, the men's game is not even debatable, and it's going to stay that way.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you don't give me anything to watch, the NBA draft has the same problem. And I will say this. We'll push the A topic into the B block because
here we go.
Because that's just going to happen. I do think it's funny that the NBA doesn't have anybody play on national championship night because we don't want to take the shine away from them. You've done everything in your power to kill this sport, but thank you for taking that Hornets Pistons banger and moving it to Tuesday.
Yep.
That was awful kind of you.
Yep.
Ugh. I didn't even know they didn't play last night.
The one and done, all of that has just devolved college basketball over the years. Completely, directly the fault of the NBA. And I mean, you should always forever hold a grudge against them for that.
No doubt. Poop rolls downhill.
Yeah.
That's the NBA started this. The NCAA has just taken that ball and deflated it.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing we could do. There's one entity that could solve this problem for
MacGyver.
us. Well, I was talking about the NBA, but they refused.
Oh, they can't fix it. I mean, as long as Adam Silver's at the reign, not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
He's too worried about.
I'm saying it
we
could
got to have an in-season tournament where they win a buttered sausage trophy, and you get it and you put it in your trophy case.
You stop denigrating the NBA Cup. That is a hallowed trophy that everyone wants.
The NBA is the Tank Spencer of the sports world. It's so damn easy to make fun of that it's almost not even fun.
Exactly.
I mean, it's still fun, and I'll still do it.
Yes.
It's comical to me. And that was the number one thing I thought. I watched the last minute 54 because I did have a heavy wager on UConn. And I wanted to make sure that we didn't do anything foolish.
Mm-hmm.
When they started struggling to get the ball in, I was watching the Gamecast on DraftKings Sportsbook. And when they struggled to get the ball in, had to call a timeout, I went, okay, let's nest in there. Let's make sure money's right. I mean, I got a 10-point buffer here, but I don't like this whole not being able to inbound the ball thing.
Right.
And all I could think about, I was looking around at the arena going, this is a blue blood against a very popular Midwest team that has the player of the year, and nobody cares.
No,
nobody cares.
No, because it was a foregone conclusion.
I'll tell you something, and this is not going to mean much to you because Twitter is not a huge thing in the South.
No.
When I go other places, when we were at the Combine, that was what everybody wanted was my Twitter handle, which in my head I'm thinking, why do you want that? I now know it's because a lot of people, that's how they message you.
Mm-hmm.
It never was the number one trending thing on Twitter last night.
No. It was never close.
Shocking to me.
Because
it doesn't take much to do that. You just have to beat the algorithm of what you're usually talked about. And your national championship game couldn't even do that.
No.
With the player of the year in it. And a team going for a back-to-back title. You really had, I mean, short of Duke, North Carolina, which is obviously what you want every single year, you had about as nice of a draw as you could get. I mean, just understand, we were fractionally away from Alabama, NC State, which I am so sad we didn't get, if for nothing else, so I could have just seen how bad that number was, to go, that's why we don't do football schools in basketball.
Yeah. 7 million people cared.
It was only fractionally behind, as Tank earlier called it, impractical jokers.
No, if you'd have given us that, it probably would have done a better number.
Actually, Impractical Jokers is right. You called it Practical Jokesters.
Yeah. Practical Jokesters.
That's not
my favorite. It's my favorite show on the true television.
You literally just sounded older than I've ever heard you sound. And I'm referring to a man that looked at me earlier and said, "Can we stop describing things as a vibe?" To which I immediately said, I think we will now. You just killed it.
It irritates me. He's a vibe. Yeah, I mean, what the actual does that even really mean? it was a headline. Somebody was trying to be cool and Dan Hurley is a whole vibe. Shut your face. That makes me hate Dan Hurley even more, even though he had nothing to do with writing the article. Just the fact that they used that to describe him. Anyhow. Yeah, no. I honestly, I didn't see a single second of the game last night.
Well, you were asleep because you're in Oldman. But Bob Brown hit it in the YouTube chat that the post-WrestleMania Raw got more attention than the national title game.
Yeah.
It didn't get more eyes. Like, it won't rate better, but it trended higher.
Mm-hmm. Because there was nothing to talk about.
I can't say this word. I'm going to try. But apocalypse.
Apocalypse?
No. It's not apocalypse.
Apocalyptic?
No. Eclipse got more. It trended more than the national title game did.
Aha.
Apocalypse and eclipse put together. Because you had the eclipse.
I see what you're saying.
I can't say that in one stream.
Yeah.
The West Virginia and me will just not allow that.
No, on paper, it should have been interesting. But it wasn't. One, and it's not going to do well, one, because it was on so late. You cut out all of the older people out of the crowd, and I'll include myself in that one because I had stayed up till midnight the night before watching the end of WrestleMania. There was no way I could stay up till midnight again just to watch one shining moment. And I'll agree with you, most overrated event in sports. But
what you just said makes me really want to cut up a video of the lowlights of the tournament, which is basically just UConn beating everybody's brains out.
Yes.
And have that song played in the background, which is all the just imagine the humor of that, like all of the sad. But that's getting killed by UConn.
But what you just said to me is part of it. If I thought there was a chance that this game was going to be great, I would have made more of a point to watch it.
I'm a lifelong.
If at any point this game felt like it was in danger, you probably would have heard more buzz about it. You would have had more eyeballs on it. The fact that UConn did what they did throughout the entire tournament, not only this tournament, but the last tournament as well, they averaged 22.7 points per victory in their tournament games.
Yeah, it was the biggest margin of victory ever for a team in tournament history. You got me with the pregnant pause there. Tank's pregnant pauses are becoming more pregnant by the year. So it's not that I'm trying to cut him off. It's just the 3 seconds of waiting to get into the next sentence. I get confused sometimes. I am a lifelong professional gambler. I felt almost guilty taking the money last night. You couldn't set the number high enough. If you had told me UConn was a 12.5-point favorite, I would still bet it and wouldn't have thought about it because that is what happens. That's why I didn't care yesterday about John Calipari going to Arkansas from Kentucky. I just don't care. I do not care. I don't care about Duke. I don't care about Cooper Flagg and all the 5 stars you got coming in. Hey, guess what? We got to take a break. In the break, I'm going to look into my crystal ball, and I'm going to tell you exactly how next year goes, short of a champion. But I'll bet you I can predict 4 of the final 8 teams in next year's tournament 360-ish days away from it.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
In this week's Marketers Report, we hear about the importance of local radio from Allison Griffin, head of marketing at State Farm.
iHeart has such a broad broadcast reach that is local, and for us to be able to touch customers with a local feel but at a national scale is so efficient and important for us.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, trusted influencers, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
QC Kinetics announces the arrival of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon with 2 decades of experience and extensive research in regenerative medicine.
I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it, and at the same time I integrated clinical research that's resulted in several publications that are really directing the future of regenerative medicine. I was drawn to QC Kinetics after I reviewed their protocols, and everything they were doing is consistent consistent with my own approach.
Today, Dr. Shinecup leads the entire team of medical professionals at QC Kinetics, taking this exciting medical breakthrough to a whole new level.
What we are doing at QC Kinetics is transforming lives.
Get lasting joint pain relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
Right now at Macy's, it's time for a spring refresh. Shop our great shoe sale and save 30 to 40% off Tommy Hilfiger, Madden Girl, and more top names. And take 35 to 70% off during our diamond sale for a little sparkle that goes with everything. Plus, get our lowest prices of the season with 20 to 60% off furniture, mattresses, and more specials. Download the app for even more great deals at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
And we are live at the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville. And UConn's done it again. They're the national champions, back-to-back. First team to do it since the Florida Gators.
Truly one shining moment. Very hard to predict, except the fact that, well, we did. Matthew Hoffman predicted it to the number.
Did he really?
Yeah, in our bracket challenge, he literally had it to the number.
Wow, good for you, Matthew.
75 to 60, which is hard to do.
Yeah, good job.
It's so hard to do that ESPN stopped doing it for a while. You just had to pick the total score.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very impressive.
Yeah. Same 2 teams? Or had both teams?
I
correct?
Think so.
Okay.
I know he won it, so I'm going to assume, since a slew of us had UConn, I will say that he probably had Purdue too, because I did not.
Right.
I thought Zach Edey was going to meet somebody with, I don't know, talent and get annihilated.
And it never happened.
Oh, no, it happened. It just happened when they met UConn. I grossly undervalued how few actual big men there are in college basketball.
Mm-hmm. Jackass says Dan Hurley to Duke for obscene money.
Oh, they'll call. When they figure out John Shire ain't going, hey, that's not going to be the one. And he'll say the same thing to Duke that he said to Kentucky. I'm good. I like it up here. It's quiet. I can live my life. My wife is from Jersey, so she's happy.
They can have more national titles than Kevin Ollie, so it's all good now.
Mm-hmm. I'm now the second most successful coach in the history of my own program.
All right, so how does this go? You said you're going to get out your crystal ball and tell us how this is going to go down for what? College basketball's next 12 months.
So getting to the Final Four there is some skill to that, obviously, but it's also a little fluky.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bet you I can name 4 teams that are in the Final 8 next year.
Okay.
Duke's one.
Yeah.
Because they have a slew of returning players.
Mm-hmm.
They had the best player in the country, which is one of the 2 builds that work. So Duke will be one.
Mm-hmm.
Gonzaga will be one because they return the entire team. They lose Anton Watson. I think it's the only player that they lose off that played a minute in the tournament. So they will be one.
Mm-hmm.
I will say UConn is another.
Yep.
They return – they lose a lot of starters. All 5 starters could be gone. But all they're going to do is the same thing they did previously, which is, hey, that's fine. We
just rewrite them.
We have 5 more over here. They've been in the program. They're not transfers. We're cohesive. They've been running practices with us. We'll be just fine. And the other one that I would lean to would be Houston. Mainly because I think L.J. Cryer will come back.
Whew. For his 17th year.
That's what we do.
Good Lord.
Hey, we've deregulated transfers. We've deregulated it all. Why wouldn't I come back?
Yeah.
I can go be the 14th guy off the bench for the Memphis Grizzlies, or I can come back and be a star at Houston and probably make more money.
Would he be that? Would he even be a bench player in the league?
LJ, he could get to the league.
Okay.
He could get to the league. He won't stick around long, and he won't be much.
All right, so you got Duke, Gonzaga, UConn, and Houston.
Notorious B.I.G. said, thank God college basketball's over. I was in misery. Don't worry. You got 4 more minutes of us talking smack, and then it's done until next March.
All right.
Because if you noticed, we didn't talk about it during the season either. You know why? Because nobody cares.
Only every Thursday for Tar Heel Time with Jones Angel.
Exactly. And we love Jones, and Jones knows all kinds of things about the sport. And so Jones catches us up 20 minutes a week, and we appreciate him for that.
All right, who else is on your list?
That could make it? Those are the 4 that I would bang the drum for.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to add 4 more, I want to say Baylor, but I don't know that Scott Drew is not going to be the coach at Kentucky. That's the one that I would be backing the brakes truck up to because he's the only one that I think will listen. He listened to Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really no shot to me he won't listen to Kentucky. Marquette would be up there pretty high because they return a lot as well. I want to say Kansas, but man, they really don't fit the narrative because they don't return squat.
Yeah,
they have a bunch of transfers,
they're like Kansas. I mean, they're like Kentucky.
Well, Kentucky, I don't know that it's going to be like Kentucky.
No,
Kentucky
I mean,
may have 15 new players.
Right, but they're following, and they follow more closely in that path than anybody else in college basketball, to me. Duke, Kentucky, and Kansas have forever been that one-and-done churn.
And if I had to go one more, I'd say Alabama. They return quite a bit and have a really good coach. And before anybody asks, no, I don't buy into Arkansas. You want to know why I don't buy into Arkansas?
What's that?
Would you like to hear the list of players on that roster right now?
None of them?
Would you like to hear it again?
They
don't have a scholarship player.
Nice.
Not one for next year. That's going to be that will be fun for me to watch. And if I hear one more person say, well, they're really going to support Coach Cal and he can build this how he wants to.
Yeah.
You mean exactly the way that Kentucky just did? Kentucky just went to him and went, here you go. There's all the money you need. You do what you want. And he kept losing in the first weekend of the tournament. Arkansas will do the same thing, and he will keep losing in the first round of the tournament. Because when you put 18-year-old kids, and it's a whole roster of 18-year-old kids, against 23 and 24-year-old men, they're going to lose way more often than they win. It's just the way it is.
Exactly, that's the way it is.
When I was a youngman, I could go to the gym at 23, 24 years old and just absolutely beat these high school kids to death because they couldn't guard me.
Mm-hmm.
And God rest your soul if you came down low because I'll throw you around like a rag doll. Now I'm old and I can't do that. I'll still drop step you to death, but I will drop step you until your feelings hurt.
You still got some moves left. All right, so putting your money on Duke, Gonzaga, UConn, and Houston. They're all great programs, and they all have a great ability, right? One way or the other. If you look at Dan with his ability to just, plug and play, although, I mean, he did carry over a lot from last year's team. Then Duke, with Cooper Flagg. He's obviously going to be a game changer.
He also really fits the mold of Duke player. He has a very hateable face.
Of course he does.
He also has the smallest head I think I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
His head looks like somebody photoshopped it. I saw him in a picture with somebody else. It was one of the Duke legends. I just can't think of which one it was. He has the smallest little head I've ever seen. He looks like the guy in Men in Black who they shoot his head off and it grows back about 4 seconds before he actually speaks.
Right. It's just a little too small.
Just a little itty-bitty head.
All right. Well, that's going to be fun to make fun of.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be J.J. Redick writing poetry under a tree fun, but it'll be close.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. We'll talk some football up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
I've been moving along through this Tuesday, and so far hasn't been terrible. We'll get a little light rain or some showers this afternoon. 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch if you can hit a couple of times. 65. Tonight, a few showers around 55. And some scattered showers tomorrow, probably more dry than wet. High 70 degrees, best chance in the afternoon, and a better chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night into Thursday. Thursday's high 70 degrees. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Apple Tree Superstore.
Go check out the all-new Apple Tree Advantage at the Apple Tree Automotive Superstore. It's your home for brand new Hondas, brand new Acuras, and a wide selection of local trade-ins. It's the all-new Apple Tree Advantage at the Apple Tree Automotive Superstore. Online at appletreesuperstore.com and located at I-26 at Airport Road, Asheville.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on the driver who treats the highway like a racetrack and the shoulder like a passing lane. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What are you doing?
I'm training for the new Ultimate Dash Scratch-Offs. I could get a chance to dash through a warehouse full of prizes.
That explains the shopping cart.
Plus, I could win up to $2 million in cash.
And that explains the tuxedo.
I'm chafing.
Feel the rush with new Ultimate Dash Scratch-Offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.78. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Disasters at home from floods, fires, or storm is a homeowner's worst nightmare. It pays to have a professional on your side, and that's exactly what you get with First Restoration Services. They've built their business off trust, integrity, speed, and quality. Learn more online at FRS247.com.
Only 1 in 5 people with autism are employed, despite many having the skill set and desire to work.
Maybe it's because employers don't know what kind of jobs they can do. Like, what about a programmer?
That's a job for someone with autism.
How about a healthcare worker?
Yep. That is too. People with autism can do a lot of different jobs, but often get overlooked due to outdated stigmas. Introducing WIN by Autism Speaks. We help businesses lead the way in inclusive hiring.
What about a ranch hand?
To learn more, go to autismspeaks.org/win.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingalls, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
We're back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. And before we get into some football, talk about the biggest NFL draft rumor of the day.
And it's a big old biggin.
It is a big old biggin. I wanted to touch on one more basketball story here because it looks like the Charlotte Hornets are going to be interviewing Lindsey Harding for their head coaching job. I wondered why I thought I knew that name. I was trying to think.
There's no one picking the WNBA
Who's
draft.
Lindsey Harding?
She played at Duke.
I had no idea that she was the number one pick in the WNBA draft. However, I did remember that she did play for the Duke Blue Devils at one point. Was a number one pick in the WNBA draft, and this past season was the coach of the year in the G League. She was the head coach of the Stockton Kings, who were the number one team in the G League this past year. And she's being interviewed for the head coaching position with the Charlotte Hornets. Interesting. Could be the first. I always thought it was going to be Becky. I always thought Becky Hammond was going to be the first. And then nobody pulled the trigger on that, and she jumps over and immediately starts winning titles in the WNBA.
Well, the only pause that I would give anybody is at this point you would have better job security than being an NBA head coach if you were a security guard for Puff Daddy. So, I mean, it's
good for you.
There are very few jobs in sports that I look at and go, I'm good.
NBA
head coach, I'm good. Look at
feel
Adrian
like it's
Griffin.
Be...
Adrian Griffin got 50 games. He was, 43-10 and got fired for, don't blame me. It's not my issue. It's 100% my fault. I'm not very good at this. My larynx has been broken for 24 years and nobody seems to care.
But I feel like if anybody's going to do it, it should probably be a franchise like Charlotte. If you're going to break through that ceiling as well, if you're looking at it from her perspective, did you not want to do it on a level where there's no expectation for you to come in and win?
The only thing I will say about this is if you're going to do it, you damn well better plan on giving somebody, whoever it is, way more latitude than we're going to fire you after 50 games.
Yes, agreed.
Because you think that PR has been bad lately. You hire the first female coach in the NBA and you fire said coach one season in, hell hath no fury like a purple state scorned.
Yep.
And I said, you get as mad at me as you want to. I don't care.
There's nothing wrong with what you just said.
Incorrect with what I just said.
No, there's nothing wrong with what you just said. You are absolutely correct. So will the Charlotte Hornets be the one to pull the trigger, break that glass ceiling, hire a female head coach? Guess we'll just have to wait and see.
My story is about the Masters. It's a tradition unlike any other. I'm very sad that we won't hear Jim Nance live from Butler Cabin. But we will have Terrell Hatton. We just won't have his caddy. His caddy's a feller named Mick Donaghy. And, Mick's got a bit of a reputation as
good dude.
He's got a little Jeremy Greene in him.
He likes to go hard in the paint.
He does. Okay. And apparently, a couple nights ago, he went too hard in the paint, and he fell down after dinner. And if it was just a story of Mick fell down, and now he's hurt his shoulder and he won't be here, this story would have died. The problem is that Terrell Hatton plays on the Live Tour with John Rahm. They're very good friends. I'm going to assume they were at this dinner together. And here's why I say that. Because they're doing a press conference together. They asked Terrell Hatton about his caddy. He says, my caddy fell over last night after dinner. As soon as he said that, John Rahm completely loses it and has to cover his hands because he is laughing so hard. Which immediately made me go, I need to know the rest.
Yeah, you got to
Come
tell
on.
me.
All right, if you're going to laugh about it in public, you better tell me the rest. So
Mick gets drunk at dinner. He falls down.
And now he can't caddy
and breaks
at the
his
Masters.
shoulder.
We don't know that he broke his shoulder. We just know that he will be physically unable to perform his duties.
He did say that he spent the morning in the hospital.
Had a CAT scan, and now he's out.
Right, exactly. He's had his CAT scanned, and maybe
his cat
he'll
got
be
scanned.
good to go in a few months. But
his cat got scanned, and it didn't meow.
Yeah, no. He said he was going to be out for a few weeks. That he was going to miss the next several tournaments. Tyrell Hatton said that he had to call a buddy of his.
Who he's flying in from the UK to carry his bag. Yeah. First of all, top 5 coolest call you could ever get. Like, you're just some dude sitting in a bar drinking warm beer in the UK, and Terrell Hatton calls you and goes, I'll be flying you to the United States. I don't know why
he's Michael Caine for some reason. He's not that kind of English.
Master White. So I just want to watch the world burn, Master White. They were throwing out rubies. So it's
I feel like you're doing a racism right now. That's not how he talks at all.
Terrell Hatton's from the UK.
Yeah, but that's not how he talks. I mean, he kind of talks like an Irish guy, and you're doing other stuff.
That's 100% not what you just called it. Okay.
What? What are you talking about? Just saying, it's racism.
It's not. It's not at all.
It's
war. I can't even make the joke.
And then Tyrell Hatton showed up, and he was all like, "Cheerio, mate."
Well, that was what I was going to do originally.
You need to work on your impression game. Find you a Tyrell Hatton if you're going to do a Tyrell Hatton.
I can't. It's the reason I always do Michael Caine. It's the best I can. I had a second story before you took me down this rabbit hole.
I'm sorry.
If you're wagering on the Masters, which you could do on DraftKings Sportsbook, you should be really careful wagering the favorite. Scotty Scheffler's the favorite, and frankly, he's minus money to finish in the top 5. There's also something about Scotty Scheffler that you should know. His wife is 37 weeks pregnant.
Aha.
And he's made it super clear. If she goes into labor, I don't care if I'm leading this tournament. I'm out.
Wow.
Sam Burns, same thing. And his wife is due in 7 days. I'm just going to say I would keep that under my hat. Scotty Scheffler, it's probably not as big a deal. Sam Burns, you're in the window.
Oh, yeah.
You're in the window. This could happen at any time. And he's a popular flyer.
So just think twice before you put money on them.
I would be careful.
Okay.
I would be careful.
I admire the hell out of that. I really do. You hear a lot about, what would you do in that scenario? Think about it. You're leading the Masters on even Friday. I'd think about it. I'd think about missing that moment. How many chances am I going to get to win the Masters? This ain't like the Buick.
Oh yeah,
screw the Buick.
Oh yeah, if you're leading the Phoenix Open, sorry boys, you finish off these Miller Lights, I gotta go.
Right.
You're leading the scoreboard at the Masters.
That's one of those special moments where you got to really think, am I going to have another kid at some point? I mean,
and that is why middle children tend to be a little emotionally stunted. This psychotherapy moment brought to you by Tank Spencer.
Hey, I was there for the first two. Do I really need to be there for the second one?
Tank Spencer, thank Jesus his children were born at the same time.
They were. I have twins.
I know.
Yeah, I got mine done. I don't have to be there for a third one.
God, I'm glad your wife doesn't listen to this show. Or tomorrow we would be discussing.
She knows.
We're going to miss Tank.
She knows I'm kidding. She knows I'm kidding. The second that phone call comes, I'll be right there. I would like to think that maybe I would think about it for a minute, but I really wouldn't. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
That was why it was funny that you said it and not me.
Right. I think for a second. I definitely joke about doing it. Or when right when the baby comes out and she, the wife comes too, just be like, what you made me miss, right?
HWA is so funny that I swear to you, if and we can't have kids, but if we could, and I was leading the Masters, she would go, "Tell me again how much that winner's paycheck is." Just one more time.
Just one more time. We could really use the money.
That's a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of money, baby.
Big rumor around the NFL today is, it's directly reported, I guess, that Monty Ossenfort has lost his damn mind.
No. Tell the story. I don't like how you position it.
The Arizona Cardinals have apparently said that they want 3 first-round draft picks for their number 4 pick.
Mm-hmm.
And they want it namely from the Minnesota Vikings.
That's one of the teams. There's no namely to it. They want 3 first-round picks.
So the thought has been Minnesota's got 11, Minnesota's got 23. So you're telling me they got to give up both picks in this draft and one next year? And you told me that's crazy.
It is crazy. If you go by the draft value chart, which everybody denigrates the Jimmy Johnson chart. No, we have all these new charts. Yeah, here's the thing. Mine's pretty infallible, and we've gone roughly 130 to 150% of cost to get up for a quarterback. The problem is we've never done that for the 4th quarterback. This is the greatest example of who wants you to know that I have ever seen in my life. Who floated this?
I guess it was Austin Fort.
I would wager this got floated by 3 different people. I will bet you money Austin Fort. The report here came from Outkick. I will bet you that Monty Austin Fort told this to a reporter himself.
Okay.
Because that is putting it out there. It's putting the heat on Minnesota. It's putting the heat on Denver. Because if you're really sold on a quarterback, the fan base is going to look at this and go, we're not going into a season with Sam Darnold. Denver's going to look at this and go, we're not going into a season with Jared Stidham.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think you should? Yes. In both instances, the answer to that is yes. If Arizona can't get the deal done, hey, we love Marvin Harrison. Love Marvin Harrison Jr. Very happy he's a Cardinal. Sat right here at 4. Didn't get what we wanted. And I don't think a Cardinal fan on the planet will be all that upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
So he positioned it. He's telling the fan base, a lot of you are clamoring for the trade down. It will happen if I get my price.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the price is about 175% of what that pick's actually worth. So basically what he said is, I'm very happy to sit at 4. Yeah, we've got the open sign out there. You can come in and look around, and you know what? If you find something you like, we can even find a way to sell it to you. You're not going to leverage me out of this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm perfectly fine sitting right here. I have another pick at the end of the first round. I'm good. I'm good. You want to overpay? I'm open to you overpaying. But then it's the other side of that. Because if you read the story, and I have the story pulled up in front of me, this was multiple sources. Armando Salguero from Outkick is who did the story. And he said multiple sources, including one whose club spoke directly with Austin Fort. That tells me you're hearing this from a lot of different places. And the only thing I can think is that Minnesota's looking at this going, J.J. McCarthy's not worth that. Like, if that's what you're telling me we're going to have to do, he's not worth that.
Mm-hmm.
He's not worth that to Denver either, because Denver would have to give up theirs in 24, 25, and 26 because they don't even have a second-round pick to cushion the blow here. Neither does Minnesota, but they have a second first-round pick. I don't think this is getting done. We're officially to that point where I start taking all the information, and people say I'm wishy-washy sometimes. No, it's just I get different information, and you start hearing it from multiple different places, you start to think about it. I live by one very simple tenet. When you hear hoofbeats, it makes a lot more sense to assume horses and zebras. There are not 4 quarterbacks that belong in the top 5 of this draft. There aren't. It doesn't make sense. J.J. McCarthy is not that guy. He has a ceiling of that. He has a floor of Akili Smith that is absolutely terrifying to me. And you're telling me I'm going to give up 3 years' worth of first-round picks for that? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But there's another little tentacle to this. And it is that there have been reports all over the NFL landscape that says New England is conflicted between J.J. McCarthy and Drake May. There is also a possibility that this is being floated because it's Minnesota's way of going, we want one of them, and we're totally prepared to overpay. Which one do you think it is? And you start overthinking yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched teams do this. My team had it done to them more than once. Warren Sapp that's the greatest example of it I've ever seen. Because as soon as he fell and a couple teams bypassed him, he was sitting on the board of the Jets sitting there going, what is about to fall in our lap? I understand that was in the mid-'90s. This is in the mid-2020s. You also have to remember there wasn't as much misinformation back then. Now there's Twitter, there's fan blogs, there's message boards, all of these places that things can be floated to stir up the fan base. And it puts New England in a really uncomfortable position because Drake May is getting no positive love right now. Outside of one writer that you told me about earlier that has Drake May at number one.
Yeah.
The only problem is that he works for Yahoo. It's literally in the name.
Yes.
Yahoo.
Yes.
Outside of that, I haven't heard one positive word about Drake May in a month since we left Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me think that there's a reason for that. It makes me think that there's a place that Drake May wants to be. Drake's staying under the radar. He knows I am not falling out of the top 8 regardless what happens. And I might be in a better position that way. I think there is a friction somewhere between a prospect and a team. The thing I can't figure out is which team is it.
What do you mean by a friction?
A bad fit. You've had all of these quarterbacks that have sat with all of these decision makers, and somewhere there is a team that goes, I'm out on that guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know who it is. I've asked. I have yet to get a good answer on it. There is one, and it could very easily lead to a surprise on April 25th. I don't think New England is dead sold on Drake May. And if they are doing a really good job of making people think that they're not.
So the thought there that they, take J.J. McCarthy over him? Or just bypass the position altogether?
That is being floated. Bypassing the position altogether has been floated.
Mm-hmm.
There is a possibility that this is not the quarterback bonanza that people think it is.
Okay.
That is 100% on the board.
We do this every year.
Mm-hmm.
We do this every year where we talk about the quarterbacks. Hell, in the year where Kenny Pickett went 20 and nobody else went until the third round, was it?
And we were talking about Malik Willis being in play at 2.
Yeah, first round.
He was in play with the Detroit Lions.
Right, there were 3 quarterbacks that we all had, they're pretty much, quarterbacks always go in the first round, so they're going to go. Malik Willis is going to go. Kenny Pickett's going to go. Who was the other one that we had in the first round? Will Levis, maybe?
Yes.
Sam Howell?
Yes. Will Levis you're in the wrong draft. Will Levis was in the draft last year.
Okay. Anyway, there was a whole group of them.
You had Malik Willis, Matt Corral.
That's right.
Willis, Pickett, Howell.
Mm-hmm. We thought there were going to be multiple quarterbacks in that first round.
I did not. I had gotten to this point, and I told you these quarterbacks are not viewed the way you think they are. I've gotten to the point with these that it may be my own personal bias. I do not like J.J. McCarthy. I have not liked J.J. McCarthy, and I'm not going to.
Yes.
And I struggle to believe a team is going to just put their career on the line for that. One thing in the YouTube chat before we go to break, that's from Hubert Queen. He was asking, why are you going to listen to fans? They don't run the organization. No, they do to a point. Mm-hmm. If the entire fan base is dead sold on Drake May, I'll just give you an example. If the entire fan base is sold on Drake May and you go J.J. McCarthy, you will not survive it. Because the fan base will get loud, the boos will happen on national television, the pressure will get so much that you cannot help but make a move. I've literally watched it happen. You make the mistake because you thought you were smarter than everybody else. If you go with groupthink, that's fine. That's why I'm telling you Chicago's taking Caleb Williams. I'm not sure that's what they think they should do. I think there's probably some conflict. There's probably some people in that organization that think Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback. But you can't bypass Caleb Williams unless you're 100% sure.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Jeremy's Picks of the Night coming up next.
Even if you take excellent care of your teeth and gums at home, you still need to see a dentist regularly. And at Asheville Smiles, they have all the latest and greatest technology, which is so important because they are able to catch issues quicker and diagnose more accurately. Many dental problems, they don't even become visible or cause pain until they are in more advanced stages. So when you are thinking about 2024, you need to make sure that you think about your overall health and make that dental appointment. World-class dental care with a hometown feel. It's AshevilleSmiles.com.
Join the MB Haynes family and enjoy excellent benefits, including medical, dental, and life insurance, 401k, employee stock ownership program, holidays, and paid vacation. MB Haynes has an immediate need for HVAC commercial service techs, plumbing, and electrical technicians. If you're ready to make a career change that positively impacts your workday and your time off, go to mbhaynes.com/careers to view available positions and apply. That's mbhaynes.com/careers. MB Haynes. Quality, commitment, character.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. Help improve air and water quality in your local community by inviting your friends, family, and neighbors to join you in a local volunteer project. Discover projects in your area by visiting iHeartRadio.com/Earth. When we all chip in, our world becomes a better place. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Did you know Ingalls only sells USDA choice and prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
I feel like a teacher checking everyone's work after a one-question test. Did you have UConn? I tried to tell you. It was never going any other way. But now we move into prime NBA season as we're in the final week of the regular season. And as my grandfather would say, that's good eating. I'm Jeremy Greene of thesportsocracy.com, and this is Green on Green, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. The final week of the regular season in the NBA can be like shooting fish in a barrel. You just have to know what you're looking at. Tonight, I'll give you a prime example with the Detroit Pistons and the Philadelphia 76ers. Philadelphia may have no one playing tonight, which means they're going to have to win with defense. Don't worry about the spread. They're a 15.5-point favorite. If you want to take Detroit, I wouldn't blame you. Just know that there is some risk if Philadelphia actually plays a couple of their starters. If they don't, they're going to win with defense, and the thing I'm laying on is the under 223.5. Bench players don't score as much as starters, and Detroit is just trying to run out the string. For a limited time, new customers who sign up with my promo code JGBETS and bet $5 will receive $250 instantly in bonus bets. Whether you prefer playing player props, same-game parlays, or you just want to play that gut feeling in the money line, you can do it all with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now using code JGBETS and bet $5 to get $250 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code JGBETS. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only, new customers only, subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit, wagering, and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
I've been moving along through this Tuesday, and so far hasn't been terrible. We'll get a little light rain or some showers this afternoon. 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch if you can hit a couple of times. 65. Tonight, a few showers around 55. And some scattered showers tomorrow, probably more dry than wet. High 70 degrees, best chance in the afternoon, and a better chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night into Thursday. Thursday's high 70 degrees. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. Hey, DQ fans, they've got the deal of the century for you. Download the DQ app and get buy one, get one free Blizzard treats. Just like that, you can get any 2 Blizzard treats for the price of 1. Only at participating DQ locations. Happy tastes good.
They're modern-day con artists, and they're the focus of Creating a Con, a true crime anthology podcast. Season 1 spotlights Ray Trapani and his tech startup scam, endorsed by DJ Khaled and Floyd Mayweather, and built on empty promises and millions from bilked investors.
If someone's like, oh, what's your best way of making money? I don't think start a business. I'm like, oh, we should start some sort of scheme, and I can't help it.
Listen to Creating a Con on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Creating a Con.
The roof is the most important part of the home, and this month ESPN Asheville and Balkan Roofing are giving one away free of charge. Through April, go to ESPNAVL.com and click on the Balkan Roofing's Roofing for a Reason. Follow the link to nominate a homeowner in need of a new roof and why they should be our winner. At the end of the month, one iHeart Asheville winner will be selected. Make your nominations again at ESPNAVL.com. Roofing for a Reason with Balkan Roofing.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
That fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls Studio.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app. Seen everywhere on YouTube. Hey, did you see any of the footage from our new favorite city, Indianapolis, yesterday during the eclipse? They actually did get some darkness. It didn't really change anything here. We stood out in the parking lot for 30 minutes with our heads to the sky like idiots.
I smoked a cigar. That was it was lovely.
Nothing ever happened.
I enjoyed every second of it. I stared up at the sky and went, hey, look, it's a little moon.
I hope everybody is, everybody has vision today.
Yeah.
Nobody stared at the sun without the glasses.
Anybody know the blind guy? Like, show of hands. Apparently, Odell Beckham in the last one, he's just staring out the window like, I see it. Which explains why he hadn't been able to catch anything in about 5 years.
Oh, it is that time here in the Sportsocracy where we unveil another wonderful all-Flostradamus team. For the 2024 NFL Draft, the Jermaine Johnson team.
That's the only person they could be named for. My new favorite player in the NFL.
Yep.
And he was one of my favorite players in the draft 2 years ago.
Yes.
I said the Jets should consider him at 4. And then it worked out to where, well, we just got it at the end of the first round anyway. In the greatest draft in the modern era.
Yes, indeed, you did. So much like, the Amon-Ra St. Brown offensive team, the defensive team, all the guys on the defensive side of the ball that Jeremy likes better than the industry. You can follow all of his draft takes at ESPN Draft Nerd.
If you're watching us on YouTube, Bill Buttigieg deserves he just listed 5 names. I think that's the first time anybody has ever done that, and all 5 names are on the team. Good for you. That shows you're paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Or we have really similar views in draft prospects. I'm not sure which one.
So let's get into it here. The Jermaine Johnson team. Defensive linemen. You went with 8 guys. That's a lot of defensive linemen.
4 on the first team, 4 on the second team.
So just like yesterday, this year, new to these teams, first and second teams. On the first team at defensive line, your first guy is
T'Vondre Sweat. but he just got a DUI. Yeah, he did. That's unfortunate. Hey, maybe we should get him a driver. I have T'Vondre Sweat at number 20 overall. I am so tired of listening to the people that denigrate him. And I know why you're doing it. You're doing it because he's not going to be an 80% of the snaps guy. I don't really care. I just don't. Mm-hmm. There are not many 360-pound men that move like that. And he's actually a pretty good pass rusher, too. I don't see any bust in him unless it's character. The DUI thing, it's bad luck. Mm-hmm. You got a DUI 3 weeks before the biggest day of your life. Do I think it's going to push him down much? No. I think he will go in the top 50 regardless. And I see him as a zero tech in a 3-4.
I feel like the only way that becomes a thing anymore is if that's a repetitive behavior. And
don't drink and drive. Ubers are cheap.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things in life that people can't afford that I understand. Ubers ain't one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You can afford to run up the bar bill. You can afford the Uber ticket too.
Agreed.
So, and it's just the way it is.
My point was that it's not viewed as it used to be. It used to be viewed like
Depends
that was
on who you're talking
a
about.
massive thing.
It is a massive thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a massive thing. It's something you should never do. It shows gross irresponsibility. He's also a 22-year-old kid. He's a 22-year-old kid. Luckily, he didn't hurt anybody. It sounds like he hit a car, not a person. And from the sounds of the story I read, it was a parked car.
Mm-hmm.
So, thankfully it didn't go worse than it did. But I don't think it's going to push him down the board. I believe he will go in the top half of the second round.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's an immediate plug-and-play starter, probably 60% of the snaps to start with. And I do think he can hold up to that.
All right.
He was big at the Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He looked much more svelte at the Combine.
T'Vondre Sweat, the BDD out of Texas, first defensive lineman. Who's next?
Braden Fiskey, my dude from Florida State. You want the exact opposite of T'Vondre Sweat is what you get with Fiskey. He's not as big as you would want him to be. He's going to have to get stronger. But I do think, especially I like him in a 4-man front. I would really like him next to, I don't know, a defensive tackle like, say, Quinnen Williams. Somebody that really occupy blocks and just allow him to win one-on-one with speed.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like this kid. I liked this kid the whole year. Then he came into the process and just crushed it.
Mm-hmm.
Just absolutely crushed it.
He was one of the showstoppers at the Combine.
He's another one of those that no man that big should be that fast.
Yes.
Absolutely. And he converts speed into power very well.
Mm-hmm.
He does have to get stronger. So, if you wanted to play him on the outside of a 3-4, you want to play him in that Aaron Donald type role, he's going to have to get bigger. So, I like him with – there are a slew of teams I like him with. I think there's a great possibility he winds up somewhere like San Francisco at the end of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
The buzz on that has kind of died down. Those are always the ones that I start betting the over. Because when you stop hearing things about guys, that means there's somebody that wants all of the talk to die down. Just forget he's even here. Just let him be like the wallpaper. Just, he's been there. We forget about it.
All right, next up on the Jermaine Johnson first team.
The next one for me is a guy that you talked about in a draft we did the other day, Muhammad Kamara.
Mm-hmm. He is an athletic freak.
I love this kid.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love him. He kind of reminds me of Elvis Dumervil. He just always seems to be around a quarterback.
That's a good comp.
I love Muhammad Kamara. And look, this is a class that I don't love the pass rushers. I think there's a lot of guys that fit into a rotation. I don't see a lot of guys that you're going to be the situational pass rusher. Kamara, to me, could actually turn into a 3-down player. I don't really understand what it is that people don't like about him. I've yet to figure that out, unless it's just totally scheme fit, which I guess I get. But I said this when we were doing it before the show. I told Tank there's a couple guys that I made you watch their workout whether you wanted to or not.
Yes.
It was Muhammad Kamara and the next name on this list.
Mm-hmm. And the next name on this list is Javon Solomon.
This may be my Amari Barno. You mentioned that name because he was on the list a couple years ago when we did this. I have not had as high a hit rate defensively as I have offensively. I think I did pretty well last year. First year, not necessarily going to talk about that.
Asante Samuel?
Asante Samuel Jr., that worked out nicely. I got a little too deep divey the first year. I mean, you take 11 guys, and I think 9 of them went in the 5th round or later.
Yes.
That gets a little – maybe we went
You live and you learn. You live and you learn.
We went too deep. Doesn't tend to be a problem of mine, but it was with that team. And so Javon Solomon is going to be more of a 4th, 5th round guy, situational pass rusher. He's very undersized. I believe he probably has to stand up. I don't feel that way with Muhammad Kamara. I don't think he has to stand up. Solomon will have to stand up. Hand in the dirt, he will get annihilated by really big offensive tackles. The Ronnie Stanleys of the world, the Tyron Smiths of the world, they'll just throw him around like a rag doll. You cannot ask somebody that small to try to convert speed into power against somebody that big, unless you have a move. That's why it worked for Dwight Freeney. That's why he was such a freak of nature. He had all of the same makings that Javon Solomon does. He just also had a move that you could not stop. Solomon does not have that. He doesn't have that go-to move. He kind of needs to work on the repertoire, and I'm really glad that he's not surged up boards. He's kind of stayed where he was going into Mobile, because I was afraid people would see the same thing I did, and then he would come in late in the 2nd, early in the 3rd with really high expectations. You can kind of take your time. Take your time. Just get it right. Don't have to be first. You just have to be right.
All right, Javon Solomon, the last one on the first team for the defensive lineman in the Jermaine Johnson list. Second team starts with who?
Michael Hall Jr. I don't get it. People ask me about so many players on the defensive line. Nobody ever asked me about him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't get it. He's a top 50 player in this class. But the tape at Ohio State. Okay. How many guys do we have to see at Ohio State that come into the league and get better? And I think he will be one of those. Mm-hmm. There's so much talent at Ohio State that sometimes you get overshadowed. And what I saw him at the Senior Bowl, he's a dog. And all the hype has died. I don't know exactly where he slots in. I've been working on my mock for the media contest. Enter it every year. I don't know where to put him because you have to list off your top 100 prospects. I know he's going to be there, but it's not just the top 100 as you see them. It's the top 100 as they go in the draft. I cannot figure out where to slot him.
And you don't think that evaluators see the same thing that you do?
There's something there. He's the toughest kind of evaluation because I know there's something there because it is universally people don't see him the way I do. But they never mention anything on the field, which means there's either a medical or a character or a something that I don't know about. But nobody's telling me about it either, which is that's bizarre. Usually when it's something like that, people can't wait to tell you because they don't want to be known as the one that bypassed him. They need to position that reason of this is why he's not on our board.
Right.
I'm not getting that.
Okay.
So I don't know what it is. It could be teams are just keeping it close to the vest and they think they'll slide him into the back end of the 2nd round and they'll be just fine.
They're hoping everybody else goes, oh, about the tape.
I don't know. I do not know.
All right, the second defensive lineman.
Marshawn Nealand, Western Michigan. He was really popular at the Senior Bowl. And the further we've gone down the process, it seems to me that evaluators like him better than the media does. I never hear about him from media people. And I'm not sure I understand that. I mean, all of you were standing right beside me. It's not like you didn't see the same thing I did. I don't understand what – everybody loved him. He was the defensive player of the week, Senior Bowl. Might have been defensive lineman of the week. It was something like that. He had a great week. The tape is intoxicating to watch. Level of competition, obviously a thing. There are 3 guys right here that couldn't – 2 of them are mirror images of each other, and then one of them is the polar opposite of those 2. But Marshawn Nealand and the next guy on this list, they both strike me the same way. I don't get it. I don't get what you're knocking them on.
Okay. Who's that?
Braylon Trice. I had him in the first round. I still think he belongs in the first round.
Really?
I don't think there's a snowball's chance in Atlanta he actually goes in the first round. And I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know what it is that you're not. I don't get what it is about the tape. If you're just watching the tape, he's the best player on the field. And you know Z from Washington. I always forget his last name. I'll look it up in the break. I loved him too. Braylon Trice is better. He looked as good as he did because Braylon Trice was on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And Tuifulotu is the other kid. Zion Tuifulotu. I do not understand what the knock on Braylon Trice is, other than I don't know exactly where you play. So that's a problem for me. That's not a problem for an NFL team. You take a guy with the intention of putting him in your scheme, which means he has to fit your scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I look at guys as across the entire landscape, where do you fit across 32 teams? It's harder for me to evaluate a guy like Braylon Trice than it is for an NFL team, which is why it's weird to me that I seem to like him better than everybody else does.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and the final one.
This is a name that I don't know that I've ever said on the show before.
All right.
Jalix Hunt.
Jalix?
He started at Cornell. He transferred to Houston Christian.
Okay.
He started at Cornell as a safety, and now he is an edge rusher.
Okay.
What does that tell you? 3-4 outside linebacker.
He's going to be pretty fast.
Mm-hmm. And he is. He is a freak of nature. I watched him at the combine and went, you are not of this world.
At Houston Christian.
Great baseball school. Not a great football school.
Mm-hmm. 6'4", 252.
Oh, the funny thing is that's only 18 pounds heavier than he played safety. He was 234 at Cornell.
Wow.
The tape, if you go back and watch the tape from Cornell, it's really fun. There's not a lot of it, but what little there is really funny.
Well, yeah, you got a linebacker out there running around.
Well, you have a linebacker.
Receivers.
It's not even a linebacker. You've got what would be a big linebacker playing at a school where everybody tends to be a little bit smaller than they usually are.
Right.
It is hilarious to see this giant back there in the backfield. And he's just, I think he's going to come into the league. You're going to have to find a very niche role for him to begin with because he is super raw.
Mm-hmm.
He's also played this position for a year. So you're taking a raw ball of clay that I think has a really high football IQ.
All right, the Jermaine Johnson all-defensive team for the 2024 NFL Draft. The first-team defensive linemen, Tavondre Sweat, Javon Solomon, Braden Fiskey, and Muhammad Kamara. The second team, Marshawn Nealon, Michael Hall Jr., Braylon Trice, and Jalix Hunt.
Colin Greene said it's Jullix. Oh, it's spelled Jalix.
Jullix?
That's how we operate around here.
Okay.
You want me to pronounce it that way? You should probably spell it that way.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you are tired of achy joints, if your joint pain is keeping you from doing what you love, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your body's own power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkupp. Dr. Scheinkupp is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more about some exciting options. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Phone 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville.
Hey, if you're listening to me right now, I have one thing every business needs most: attention. Think about it. We swipe and scroll past stuff all day, but when we're driving, cooking, and working out, we're also listening. That's the magic of audio at iHeart. We're in your next customer's ears while they're living life and listening, just like you are right now. So get your customers to listen up today using radio, digital, and podcasts. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic. Safe. Effective. Even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds, which could be life-changing. I mean, you could put that money towards concert tickets for your daughter to see that singer who sings about painful breakups. And one song will inspire your little beauty to break up with that beast she's dating, Brian. Instead, she'll date someone who's nice and worthy of her love, not someone who addresses you and your spouse as, bro. And it's all because you could save money switching at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in all states.
At Ingalls, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top-quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
You're in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. 92.9 FM, 880 AM at 1400.
Oh, you know, one of these days, we're going to figure out a way. We're going to figure out a way to actually broadcast not on the radio. That would end horribly. The 3.5 minutes that we have of commercials, just pure comedy gold. There are times it's just pure comedy gold.
I don't know what you ate, but it's sour, whatever it was.
I don't know what you're talking about, Tuck.
Please open that door.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Crack that door for me, please.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the Jermaine Johnson all-defensive team for the 2024 NFL Draft. Flostradamus' guys that he likes better than the rest of the industry. Linebackers, 2 per team. You got a first team and a second team. Just keeps coming in waves. First team, number 1 linebacker that you're higher on than the rest of the industry is
Peyton Wilson. He's the #1 linebacker in his class, and I'm not real sure that it's all that close. If you don't have him, if you don't have him at 1, stop laughing. This is why we should broadcast.
Did you do it again?
This is why we should. That's why we should broadcast the 3.5 minutes that are off air, because then you would understand why Tank is dying slowly. Peyton Wilson's the best linebacker in this class. The knock on him from some people is that he is a little taller than you would want, and he has a medical history that is a little checkered. Some teams won't even have him on the board. I'll just go ahead and tell you. Which is why you keep seeing him listed on top 100s at 90. I think that's what you told me earlier.
Yes, one of the ones I saw today had him at like 90, and I thought, that seems terribly low. But when you factor into the account, of the injuries, a couple of devastating knee injuries early in a career is not necessarily something that I want to be investing high draft capital in. So we like to mock the mocks, and I'm going around checking mock drafts today. And I believe it was on CBS. There was one that was posted with Brady Quinn and Legger Doozable. It was a new one for me. Apparently he's a former Jet. Jeremy met him down at training camp.
I've known him for a while.
I got to hear the cool story.
He's a CBS sports analyst.
So they were going back and forth like you and I will do from time to time with our mock drafts. And they took Peyton Wilson at like 25 or something to the Green Bay Packers. And I see that, and then I immediately see somebody have him in the 90s. I go, okay, there is a wide berth. Because there's no doubting the physical tools, the physical abilities of Peyton Wilson when he's healthy. It's the question of whether or not I want to put high draft capital in that. If I had to take him in the first round, he would not be my problem. I would not be spending a first-round draft pick on that guy.
I wouldn't spend a first-round draft pick on an off-ball linebacker, period. So, he's not going in the first round. That's just not – it's not in the range. Mm-hmm. It was after the Combine because everybody lost their minds about how fast he ran. But it was never real. Mm-hmm. It was never realistic.
Right. So Peyton Wilson is your first linebacker. Number 2 on the first team.
Maris Lafau. Anybody that is that fast. Are there things in his game that need to be rounded out? Oh, good Lord, yes. He is super raw, which is ironic because there's another linebacker that he played with that's on the second team that's the exact opposite. Because he's not raw. He's a finished product. There's just the ceiling is not as high. Maris Lafau impressed me at the Senior Bowl solely because he kept ending up on tape because he's so fast. He's out of position. Sometimes he's a little reckless, and the practices are more structured. So it took some of that away, and it really allowed me to just watch the raw tools that he has. He's not going to go high. I would say he probably he's in day 3 somewhere. And he probably starts out as a special teamer. But it wouldn't shock me at all. 2 years from now, we're looking at him going, he wound up with D'Amico Ryans, and now he is a dog.
Just did a precursory search here for Maris Lafau, and here's the Baltimore Ravens fan page begging for them to take him in the 3rd round so they can have fix their inside linebacker problem.
I would like him in Baltimore. I'd like him in Baltimore a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm. Smart fans there in Baltimore. The second team for linebackers.
We might as well start with the guy that I just teased. It's J.D. Bertrand. There's not a team in the NFL that can't use J.D. Bertrand. He jumped off the Ohio State tape. Is the one with him that I just went, that's the smartest player on the field, and I'm not sure it's all that close. He always seems to be around the ball. Is he the fastest guy? No. Is he the biggest guy? No. You know who he reminds me of?
Who's that?
Alex Anzalone. I do not, watching that guy on tape, I do not understand how you got here. Damn, you always seem to be around the ball.
Right
Every single time a play breaks down, you see that long hair from Alex Anzalone.
Right
J.D.
place,
Bertrand,
right
same. It's the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're not the same player, don't get me wrong. Just the totality. I see a similarity there.
Yep.
J.D. Bertrand, to me, I can't stop putting him with Detroit. Every single time I do a mock draft, he winds up with the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm. Next one up, Cedric Gray.
I'm going to let you speak from the Carolina fan of you watched a lot of him.
Yes. I did watch a lot of him. And he's one of those as well that is everywhere.
Except when he's not.
All of the time, he appears to be everywhere. Except for when he's not. What do you mean?
If I could give Cedric Gray J.T. Bertrand's eyes, he'd probably be the top linebacker in this class.
Okay.
He does not have that. He gets lost in the backfield. The problem, at least what I see with Cedric Gray, he looked around that defense and went, there are not as many dogs here as I need. And so he's trying to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
I said the same thing about Chaz Surratt. Chaz Surratt was super athletic and had quarterback eyes. So he could see things that the average linebacker couldn't. Problem is he would get stuck in the backfield because he was trying to make a play on every play. Sometimes you just have to make the 3-yard tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Cedric Gray wants to put it in the backfield every single time he gets the opportunity to.
Yep.
And I respect that. He has the athleticism to do it. I just need your football IQ to get a little bit higher. Sometimes you have to. You got to know when you beat.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Devin White in the way that he can.
He's not as fast as Devin White.
In the way that he can go like sideline to sideline and get after dudes. He reminds me a lot of Devin, although he can cover better than Devin.
That's not saying much, but yes, it's true. I'm not sure you can't cover better than Devin White.
Well, I do have a particular set of skills.
If there's anything that bothers me, it's that he's, other than what I've already said, he's a little raw for how much experience he has.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got a really high-level snap count. So I look at some of these things and go, you should not still be struggling with this.
But did he get the level of coaching that you would have liked to have seen?
That's where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. William Workman said he gets lost in the wash too much. I put that more on the defensive staff for Carolina. If you didn't watch Carolina football week in, week out, you don't understand how poorly coordinated that defense was.
Terrible.
That's why I like guys like Miles Murphy. That's why I like guys like Cedric Gray, because I think you're getting an experienced prospect that maybe is more raw than you would think.
Mm-hmm.
So you get somebody like Jim Schwartz. I saw somebody, the back satisfied Browns fan, was talking about him wanting it with the Browns. I'd love it. Because that's a guy that can get the most out of Cedric Gray. It was unsettling to me that I think he's faster than he runs. Got that Keon Coleman thing of, well, the 40 wasn't all that impressive, but you're faster than that on tape.
Mm-hmm. The all-defensive team for the NFL draft, the Jermaine Johnson list from Flostradamus, Jeremy Greene, linebackers. First team, Peyton Wilson and Marist Lafau. Second team, Cedric Gray, J.D. Bertrand. We'll get to the corners, plus it'll be time to get weird when we come back after this.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
I've been moving along through this Tuesday, and so far hasn't been terrible. We'll get a little light rain or some showers this afternoon. 1/10 of an inch, maybe a 1/4 of an inch if you can hit a couple of times. 65. Tonight, a few showers around 55. And some scattered showers tomorrow, probably more dry than wet. High 70 degrees, best chance in the afternoon, and a better chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night into Thursday. Thursday's high 70 degrees. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's knows pros need the right tools for every job. That's why they sell the largest in-store selection of Klein tools anywhere. Shop Klein tools in-store and online today. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Gabby.
Hey, Gabby. It's Jennifer Coolidge. Hi. I'm so glad I reached you at 2 a.m.
Oh, of course. Anyone with a Discover card can call and talk to a real person 24/7. Now, how can I help?
Yeah, I used my Discover card to buy these yellow pleather pajamas, and I'm just not sure I'm pulling them off.
24/7 U.S.-based customer service. It pays to Discover. Limitations apply. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard.
They're modern-day con artists, and they're the focus of Creating a Con, a true crime anthology podcast. Season 1 spotlights Ray Trapani and his tech startup scam, endorsed by DJ Khaled and Floyd Mayweather, and built on empty promises and millions from bilked investors.
If someone's like, oh, what's your best way of making money? I don't think start a business. I'm like, oh, we should start some sort of scheme, and I can't help it.
Listen to Creating a Con on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Creating a Con.
To tell you that Keno picks 20 winning numbers, we wrote a winning number of our own. Hit it, boys. You pick up to 10. Keno picks 20. It's easy to play for a whole lot of money. Winning numbers are everywhere with Keno from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds to win a prize range from 1 in 3.86 to 16.63. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you right now. Like Alt 2K, a commercial-free look back to alternative from the 2000s. Just search Alt 2K and listen now on your free iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio.
free never sounded so good.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Did you know Ingalls only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
It is ESPN Asheville. Time to get weird. Jeremy, this is a nightmare. This is an absolute nightmare of a way to get woken up in the in the middle of the night. So there's a story here from West Valley City, which is in Utah. And the other day, or I guess the other night, 39-year-old man is at home. He's alone, and he's having some issues. He's having one of those moments where he's considering taking away God's greatest gift. Sitting there with the handgun in his hand, and then he decides it's not time. It's not my time. And he gets angry and he shoots 15 shots into the wall instead of doing the unthinkable. The problem with what he did was his roommate is on the other side of the wall, asleep in the next bedroom. I'm glad that he was able to have the moment where he could come to grips and realize that that's not what he wanted to do. But you are going to face a charge when you fire 15 shots blankly into a wall of an occupied room. So, yeah. Of course, anybody out there needing help, please seek help. It is here for you. Anyone, just saying. But do not fire guns blankly into occupied rooms. That is not going to end well. Thankfully, the roommate was not hit by any of the bullets.
Do we need to have that talk about serious stories in this supposed to be funny segment?
Oh, I didn't know that's what we were doing.
That was a little heavy.
Well, I'm going to talk to you about wearing diapers to work from now on. So,
at 2, Brute. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, my story is about the second most famous mobile of foodstuffs. I have often told the story of the Oscar Mayer Wiener Mobile.
Yes.
I did not know that there is another similar type vehicle.
Of course there is.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about.
Who's the company?
Planners.
That's correct.
And the Nutmobile.
It's the Nutmobile. It's a giant peanut with wheels. And now it needs a driver. There is a listing out there looking for drivers of the Nutmobile. And I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked when this came up about the Oscar Mayer Wiener Mobile 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Would you drive it?
Yes.
Why?
Well, 1, I love to drive. 2, I love peanuts. So, I mean, if you're going to hook me up with a couple of cases of those deluxe mixed nuts that I love so much, we can go on a road trip.
So in the job listing, Planters says they are looking for recent college graduates to drive the Nutmobile that have media backgrounds because they have to handle interviews and media appearances.
Yes.
All right, now I have to ask a second question. What is a media appearance for the driver of the Nutmobile?
What Well, you got to show up to like fairs and stuff, and talk to the people. And
okay, that's talking to people. In what universe is any media member going to go, you got to get down to the county fairgrounds and talk to Bubba driving the Nutmobile?
You never know. He could be a star. You get interviewed for the local news. Next thing you know, your career's off and running. This is a social media thing.
No doubt.
That's exactly what this is. We want somebody who just came out of a 4-year college university looking for their first crappy job, where we're going to stick you in the hottest car you could possibly imagine, and your summer is going to be absolute hell.
Oh, the Nutmobile has really good air conditioning.
Does it, though?
Oh, I'm pretty sure it does.
I don't know. You may not get the new one. They might have 12 Nutmobiles, and you end up driving the old one that's just a little, just doesn't have quite the same get up and go as the new pair.
There's a joke that I want to tell right here, and I can't do it, and it is paining me to no end.
I mean, it could be a fun job. However, it is definitely a job for, some young, dumb dude who doesn't know any better.
We should move past before my head explodes on camera.
It is the Sportsocracy, ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Look, you don't have to drive the Nutmobile to make a fortune. A fortune could be right at your fingertips. And it's all live right here in the state of North Carolina with the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sports betting partner of NASCAR. And you don't have to take crap jobs if you don't want to. You just got to be really good. Maybe listen to Flostradamus every time he lays out a banger, like dump everything you have on UConn. In the national championship game.
Highly recommend.
Because that paid off pretty well for him. You can bet now on all your favorite sports legally from the comfort of your own home, from the security of your own mobile device. And for a limited time, new customers who sign up with the promo code WPEK and bet $5 will receive $200 instantly in bonus bets. They have all the best features. They have all the player props and same-game parlays and futures for all you NFL people. Fast and easy payouts right at your fingertips. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now using the code WPEK and bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook with the code WPEK. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC. NASCAR is not a sponsor of this promotion and used under license. The Jermaine Johnson all-defensive team for the 2024 NFL Draft. Jeremy's guys that he likes better than the industry. We're now to the secondary. We have first team and second team. Between the two of them, 3 cornerbacks each. Your first corner that you like better than everybody else.
Cam Hart. Who's shocked? Anybody? Show of hands?
No.
Okay. Nobody surprised by that?
No, we've heard that name a lot. Again, tell us why everybody is sleeping on him.
Long, lean outside corner that's really sticky in coverage. I don't get it. I keep seeing him appear like 3rd, 4th round in mock drafts, and there are so many guys going ahead of him that I don't really understand. I'll be honest with you, and I mean this to the depths of my soul. If you told me I could have Cam Hart or Kool-Aid McKinstry, it would be Cam Hart 100 times out of 100. I would not think about it.
Really?
It wouldn't even be a consideration for me. I would happily take Cam Hart in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying that the board would get to that point, but I would happily take him in the first round.
And he won't because why?
It's a good question you got there.
Okay. There's not an injury concern. There's not a...
No. Pretty good experience. I thought he was really good at the Senior Bowl. And yet, he has just gotten no traction over the course of this process. And there are guys like this every single year. And some of them I hit on, some of them I don't. There have been guys that I was this confident about that Amari Barno. I'm stuck on that name because I'm still so sad that he hasn't turned into the player that I thought he would. But I mean, I like bigger, taller corners. And Cam Hart, 6'3". I mean, if you want the knock on him, he's not a very good tackler. But let me just go ahead and tell you, in this entire draft class, there are only about 4 guys that I couldn't say that about. Elijah Jones, that I'm being asked about in the chat from Boston College. Same problem. He can't tackle. Coverage is fine. He does not tackle well.
Okay.
And there have been a lot of guys over the years that's been the knock on them. And then guess what? They get to the NFL, it's not that big a problem. It's just not that big a problem.
All right, next up on your first team.
Jarvis Brownlee Jr. out of Louisville. I absolutely fell in love with him at the Senior Bowl, and then I started diving into it. I felt very sure there was going to be a corner from Louisville in this draft class that I was really high on. I just thought his name was going to be Storm Duck. It's not. It's this kid. And it should tell you something that when we got to Mobile, if you've listened to the show for an extended period of time, you know that I'm pretty close with the PFF guys. They didn't have him in the software because I saw the name. He was a late addition. And I saw the name and I went, I know that name, but I don't know why. And I had no notes on him. I had nothing. And so, obviously, I locked in on him. And the more I watched him, the more I went, that kid might be the best corner out on this field. Kind of waned over the course of the week. Then I went back and dug the tape. And I figured out that teams just avoided him because they didn't have to. I got Storm Duck over here who I thought I was going to love because, as I said, I like taller corners. Storm Duck is. Jarvis Brownlee's not. I like one. I don't like the other. And this is the kid that I like. He's one of the better tackling corners in this class. He just has, to me, he's very, very scheme specific. I want him in a man scheme. I do not want him like your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Avoid him at all costs. Because you're asking him to do something that he is not particularly comfortable with.
Okay.
But in a heavy press, heavy man scheme, we're good.
Jarvis Brownlee Jr. from Louisville. And then?
Nehemiah Pritchett out of Auburn. You asked me about DJ James. I like both Auburn corners. I just like Pritchett better.
Okay.
Really fast, really fluid. Another guy that can't tackle to save his life because he is super thin. This kid needs to eat a cheeseburger real bad. But I'm not overly worried about it. I think he listed at 190, which if you see him up close and personal, which I did, he does not look 190 pounds. He looks about 165 pounds. And I think that's his problem. He will lose some speed bulking up. But I don't think he's going to lose fluidity, and I can work with that. I add 10 to 15 good pounds on him. I think he'll become a better tackler. I could see him going as high as day 2. He was really impressive to me.
Running a good 40 at the combine, help you out in the process as well.
That always tends to help.
It always works.
Because we love having that number.
Yes.
You know,
it always makes you feel better.
Which is funny because 9 times out of 10, it doesn't really matter. You're not asked to bail out and run a 40-yard dash very often as a corner.
No.
I care more about how your hips move. I care more about your agility.
But that's what I want to hear. I mean, I want to know that you have that kind of speed, so you will have the ability to catch up when you get left behind. Because it's going to happen. You're going to get burned in this league. I need to know if you have the ability to catch up. Is it the end-all, be-all? No. Do you base everything on a 40 time? No.
I base next to nothing on a 40 time. At corner. Wide receiver, a little different. I don't base much on that, but it does help if I know you've got it.
All right, Cam Hart, Jarvis Brownlee Jr., Nehemiah Pritchett. That's your first team corners for the Jermaine Johnson team. Second team starts with who?
Kalen Carson out of Wake Forest. Yes, and before anybody says it, I am well aware he got his lunchbox eaten by Keon Coleman. I watched every second of it. He's not a ready-made product. Keon Coleman's also a lot bigger than he is. And he was asked to do something because the alternative was putting him on Johnny Wilson, which would have gone every bit as bad, if not worse. He's not a big guy. There are some people that think he is going to have to play in the slot. I'm not one of those. I think he can play on the outside. Bigger receivers have messed with him his entire career. He's just not physical enough for that. Mm-hmm. I can scheme that out. I like him. I've liked him his entire career. I watched him at Wake Forest, and every time I put on Wake Forest tape, I just went, that's the best player on the field, and it's not close. Then you got teams that only had one receiver, and they just avoid him.
Mm-hmm. And then?
Marcellus Dial out of South Carolina. Yes, before anybody says it, I do have something about South Carolina corners. Seems like every year I have a cornerback from South Carolina that I really like.
They do turn out some good ones.
The biggest problem with him is I think he needs – this is going to sound strange for a guy that played over 2,000 snaps in college. I think he needs more reps because the double moves really get him. He bites too often, but then you get him in just straight coverage snaps, and he's phenomenal. I can tell you there is a team in this league that thinks he is the 5th corner in this class. Wow. You will see him listed in the 20s often. There is a team in the NFL that views him as a high-end starter in this league.
Mm-hmm. And then your final corner.
This one shouldn't come as any surprise because I already told you I like big, tall corners. Kyrie Jackson out of Oregon. I know this sounds crazy. He's another one I like better than Kool-Aid and McKinstry. Mm-hmm. Not even close. Not even close. Wouldn't even be a thought. Now, I'm not high on Kool-Aid. Kyrie's a little thin. He is going to have to bulk up just a little bit. He is probably if not the best tackling corner in this class, he's in the top 3. He struggles in zone as well. I want him, for some reason, him in Baltimore. Just it lines up for me of you across from Marlon Humphrey feels like it's going to work just fine. And he's the kind of corner that he reminds me of Juju Brents a little bit from last year. Of the good is really good. There was some that wasn't great. But if you get him into a system where he's coached upright, I see no reason that he can't be a really good plus number 2 in this league.
All right, you're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville. Take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll give you the safeties and the special teamers for the Jermaine Johnson list.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on the driver who treats the highway like a racetrack and the shoulder like a passing lane. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE-certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Progressive asks, what do a slow Friday night, bored teenage boys,
I'm bored,
a pack of fireworks,
this is gonna be awesome,
and a teetering branch suspended over your car have in common?
Look out! Run!
They can quickly wreak havoc on your slow Friday night.
Uh-oh.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Elevate your outdoor living space this year using stone. Tanzite has developed stone decking crafted without any plastic composite materials to redefine durability. Visit Tanzite.com to see how stone decking doesn't scratch, stays cooler, isn't slippery, and has all the durability you would expect from stone, which is why it's guaranteed for life. At Tanzite.com, you will see how we developed stone to easily transform any ordinary wood deck. You can even make your deck waterproof for a dry space below. Versatile and adaptable, Tanzite is perfect for decks, stairs, over concrete, or ground applications. Visit Tanzite.com to start planning your project with a free 3D design and construction plan tailored to your space. Order a sample today to witness the incredible beauty and durability firsthand at Tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, closing it out for the hour here with the final members of the Jermaine Johnson team, the all-defensive team for Flostradamus in the 2024 NFL Draft. The safeties that you like best on your first team are who?
Kalen Bullock, USC.
Okay.
I don't really understand what it is that people don't like about him. Now, if you're looking for a safety that's going to be coming down in the box and hard hitting against the run, okay, I get why you don't. Because the run tape on him is it leaves a lot to be desired.
Mm-hmm.
If you're wanting to play him in that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson role, this is the best safety in the class. If that's what you're looking for, that Brian Branch, C.J. Gardner-Johnson type role, I'm all the way in. And a lot of teams are. Tyrann Mathieu, he's another one, plays similar role.
Yep.
It's not exactly the same, but similar.
All right.
Because he's really good out of the slot, and he's really good in coverage.
With him on the first team is who?
Sione Vaki. He's just a football player. I don't even know that he's a safety. I had a coach of his tell me at the Senior Bowl his best position is wide receiver.
Wow.
He was running reps at wide receiver at the Senior Bowl. I think he's just one of those guys that can do practically anything. I want to bring him in, play him on special teams. I think he'll be a special teams ace off the jump, and I want that athleticism in my building.
All right, second team of safeties.
I cheated here a little bit. Cameron Kinchens is my number 1 safety in this class, and he's been passed pretty clearly by at least Tyler Nubin, who I like as well. I just don't like him as much.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's really, really good for what he is. They're 2 completely different kind of players. Kinchens has been knocked to such a point that I think now we're undervaluing him.
Yep.
I mean, look, this safety class is not great. If he makes it to day 3, we're doing it wrong.
Okay, and the last one?
You know I had to get one more Seminole in here.
Oh,
Shenarda Greene, just an absolute dog. Still a little raw. I think there's more to get out of him, but I also think he can. I think he can play very quickly.
And then also you've added some special teamers.
Those are kick returners.
Okay, kick returners.
I needed an extra spot. Aeneas Smith out of Texas A&M. I would draft him in the 2nd round just solely because he's such a satellite player. Super short.
Mm-hmm.
He's listed, I think, at 5'8". He might be 5'7", but he's really good with the ball in his hand. And Daquan Hardy out of Penn State. I didn't put Cooper DeJean there because it's kind of hard to underrate a guy that's going to go in the top 15.
Right.
He's the best kick returner in the class. I don't know that he'll ever be asked to do it, But if you're drafting a guy strictly to be a return guy, Aeneas Smith is my 1, Daquan Hardy is my 2.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
I've been moving along through this Tuesday, and so far hasn't been terrible. We'll get a little light rain or some showers this afternoon. 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch if you can hit a couple of times. 65. Tonight, a few showers around 55. And some scattered showers tomorrow, probably more dry than wet. High 70 degrees, best chance in the afternoon, and a better chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night into Thursday. Thursday's high 70 degrees. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you need at the prices you want. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they're guaranteed to fit your ride the first time, every time, or your money back. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
63 Americans a day die by gun suicide. By storing our guns safely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo, we can give our loved ones a second chance at life. Learn more at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
In this edition of the Marketers Report, Angela Zepeda, Chief Marketing Officer of Hyundai Motor America, discusses measuring audio.
The measurement capability within audio, I think, surprised all of us, but all of it's been extremely helpful, and we have seen a huge return on our investment. The methodology by which we're approaching audio and then seeing the real results with real numbers has helped us continue to invest moving forward. One of the things that's been really important for us is to see the extension of reach to new audiences that we could not really speak to before. We get about a 20% lift adding audio to our overall portfolio.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to all, from national to local. Every audience, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow. Not just a marketing company, iHeartMedia is your access company. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
The Sportsocracy.
That fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls Studio.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. Sportsocracy is heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click that live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat. You get your thoughts in on all of the things that we talk about. You know, have some spirited conversations with the others in the YouTube chat as well. I do love each and every day we have secondary conversations going on during the program in the chat. So it's very entertaining. Flostradamus, as we're getting closer to the Draftmas day.
We're but 16. Count them.
Is it 16?
16.
Wow.
2 weeks from the day after tomorrow.
That seems insanely close.
It is. And then Jeremy's like a bird. He needs to fly away. I'm not taking a Mel Kiper vacation, but there is a great chance that I'll be a little scarce for a while.
Yes. He's already told me, I don't care what you do while I'm gone.
I don't care
don't call me.
I don't care if you come in here and play the kazoo for 3 hours.
Oh, it's going to be great. We're going to come in here and we're going to talk baseball. We're going to have all the things. We're going to have the Eddie De La Cruz hour, where we just talk about how great he is.
De La Cruz.
That's what I said.
You said Eddie.
Well, I meant to say Ellie.
That's Eddie. He's over there.
Well, whatever. You know what I meant.
Yeah, I hate that I'll miss that. I'll think of you fondly while I sit on a beach.
It'll be your loss. Talking about the White Sox bullpen for a week and a half.
I'm taking a full 2-week vacation for my anniversary. It's very exciting to me. I haven't seen a beach in 2 years. That needs to be not a thing.
That needs to change.
Yeah.
Absolutely so. Anyhow, we do have, of course, counting down the days to the NFL draft. It seems really quiet to me. I mean, yeah, we had the story we talked in the first hour about the Arizona Cardinals and, their big trade demand for the number 4 pick, wanting 3 first-round draft picks for somebody to move up into that spot. But still, I mean, it just feels quiet. Is this out of the ordinary?
No. It's really not. I mean, look, you're going to start getting inundated with rumors and speculation probably around the weekend. The difference in this class and every other is, not every other, but in recent years, is that you have such a niche. Because there are several positions in this class that are really good. A lot of people think this is a prodigious quarterback class. I ain't one of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best receiver class I've ever evaluated. It's pretty high in terms of tackles. I think there are a good number of defensive linemen, maybe not as many on the highest of high sides. You've got one really elite corner, a couple that are pretty nice, and then a lot of dudes that are very similar. What that could lead to is either way more trades than we're used to or way fewer, and I think it's way more likely it's the latter.
Really?
I'll give you an example. Name me a team that you think would benefit from making a move up. Not for a quarterback, for anything but a quarterback.
The Buffalo Bills.
That was the one I was hoping you were going to say. All right, so what would that move look like? If you're making the home run swing move, what does it look like?
I don't know.
Getting up to 8 with the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
Because at 8, you're guaranteed that either Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors are going to be there. So you go up there and get a legit, no doubt, one.
Yes.
Is that better, especially with the capital it's going to cost you? Because it would cost you quite a bit. It's going to cost you your one next year, no doubt.
Yes.
And probably plus. Or is it better to sit right there at 28 and take A.D. Mitchell? Double up with Keon Coleman in the second round. Whatever the case may be, do you feel way better about one than the other? Because I don't think you should.
No, I mean, it always concerns you to have to give up future capital. There would be no doubt to me that you would be getting the better player in all of that. That's not saying much. But would the sum of all other parts be greater than him? Maybe. But I'm the Buffalo Bills. Am I great at drafting anyway?
Well, that's a good example.
I always take that into account.
You're
right. Like, I always take that into account when I'm looking at it. There's a chance I'm going to screw that pick up anyway. So maybe we should just give these picks up anyway and get the no-doubter.
Well, one of the great fallacies of the draft process is having more bullets in the gun makes you better at this. I will tell you, and I've been told this by 2 people that rank really highly in organizations that I'm pretty close to. The 6th and 7th rounds are irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Irrelevant.
Yes.
This is glorified in this draft. This is a glorified 5-round draft. You're basically just taking priority on undrafted free agents from the 6th round on. That's not unheard of. It is way worse this year than it has been in the past. What that also does is it really makes the picks, especially in the first 2 days, way more valuable. You're going to see, if you do see trades, it's going to cost more to get there than you expect it to, which is what we were talking about with Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense that they're asking for 3 ones because I can sit right here and be just fine. Do I want 3 first-round picks? Of course I do. My consolation prize is, oh, shoot, I got to sit here and take the best receiver prospect I've seen in the last 5 years. Oh, damn the devil. I'm fine. I'm not sad about this.
Mm-hmm.
Where you see a lot of trades is when the top side of the draft is really unsettled. Because you'll get teams, I can tell you, since I've been doing this, we had a year, and I don't remember specifically what year it is. I'm bad at remembering years because I get stuck in my head, and that's what it is forever. We had a class a handful of years ago, back before we did this show, where the average team had 12 first-round grades. They just weren't high-end players. So if I've got a first-round grade on a guy that's still sitting there at 15, and I'm picking at 26, it makes all the sense in the world for me to jump up and get that guy.
Yeah.
If the team that's sitting at 15 has no first-round grades left, it makes all the sense in the world for me to drop back and let you get up here to that pick. Because now I'm going to spend less money. I'm going to get extra capital to get guys in rounds that I actually value them at. Those are where you see a lot of trades. I don't see that here. I don't. I could see a path that there's not a move in the top 7. And then Atlanta sits there at 8 like, hey, you remember that thing that the fat guy said the whole time? There's a reason for that. I didn't just make it up. Because they feel good about several different players. They can drop back. All right, you want to come up here and get your quarterback because J.J. McCarthy and possibly Drake May have fallen here? Come on. It's not going to cost you 3 first-round picks. Cost you a second-day pick. That's it. You can jump up here 3 spots. We'll still get the guy we want or a guy we want. Give you a perfect example, Dallas Turner and Jared Verse. How big of a difference do you see between those two players?
None.
Well, to me, there's a huge difference in the type of player they are. In the grade, there's not a huge difference. So if you play a scheme where you feel like you could play both of them, there's really not much difference from one to the other. Latu, same thing. As long as I get one of the 3 of them, I'm good. If that's what I'm after, an edge rusher, I'm good.
Yep.
Now, I don't want to get into that second tier. I don't want to get into, some of the guys we talked about earlier where I'm looking at Marshawn Nealon because there is a huge difference between him and the 3 I just said. That's what makes me think that this could go more to script than we're used to.
Okay. We know when we like to mock the mocks, looking at all of the prognostications and the weird scenarios that people can come up with. People go trade happy. I don't expect to see 7 trades in the first round. But with as much instability as there is about this class specifically, I mean, I won't be surprised to see some shifting around. Maybe not in those the higher picks, but especially in that 8 through 25 realm, I won't be shocked to see a bunch of moving around, especially if it doesn't cost much.
8, I understand. Then we go through about, to Seattle at 16. I don't see any of those teams moving. I don't. I'm not going to say they wouldn't want to. I can't find a partner that makes any sense. Shout out to Curtis Davis, who it was the Laquan Treadwell class, as he called it, 2016.
Oh, okay.
That was the class where teams were going, we love a lot of guys in the second round. We really don't want to take them in the first. We really don't want to have to make that decision on an option. We really don't want to have to pay all that money. That was the draft where you had Bosa, Joey, not Nick, Jalen Ramsey, Ronnie Stanley, super high end in the top 8, and then it fell off a cliff. But you had Chris Jones and Xavier Howard go in the first handful of picks in the second round. This one is not as drastic as that, but there is a huge drop-off, which is why I say what you said you could see a lot of movement from 8 to 20.
Yeah.
The only problem is that I could see movement between the 2. You get a team like the Colts that wants to move up to 9 with Chicago to get to snake Brock Bowers from the Jets. Okay. Because there's a rumor that they like Brock Bowers. I've seen it in the chat a couple times. I just wanted to mention it. I had heard that before. I was just acknowledging the chat, I guess is the way I should have said that. I get that because the Bears could drop down and still take Latu, which is what I'm told is that they're going edge right there at 9. You're not going to drop any further than that because there's a possibility you drop out of that top 18 and then you're sitting here with J.C. Latham. Oh, look, I got a fat toy. Yay. Squishy. Just I mean, I'm not trying to take shots at him. I'm really not.
Yeah.
Because if I take him in the 20s, I'm fine. If I have to take him at 10, I've already lost today. I don't feel good about that. Everybody has a value at a certain spot. This is one of those classes. I mean, I can tell you from my rankings. I'm looking at them right now. There is a point drop-off. If you don't know how my rankings work, 10 is the perfect prospect. I've never had a 10. I've never had a 9-9. I've never had a 9-8. Had several 9-7s. Marvin Harrison is a 9-7 this year, so is Joe Alt. The drop-off from those guys, the elite franchise players, and I've told you, I think there are 7 franchise players in this class, and ain't not one of them play quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
The drop-off to the second tier is a full 1.5, which goes from future Hall of Famer to immediate starter. An 8 is an immediate starter for me. Didn't say a good one. I said I can plug and play you right now, and I'll be fine.
Right.
I've only got about 20 of those. Then you get into the scheme specific. And scheme specific is not where I want to be. Because if I trade out Brock Bowers is to me a really good example of this. If I trade off that pick, somebody takes him and he becomes what he could be, which is top 5 tight end ever. Mm-hmm. I think he has that kind of upside. Mm-hmm. I look like a moron forever. And I will forever be the guy that traded the pick that became Brock Bowers. And there's a risk to that. And a lot of teams don't want to take that risk, and a lot of teams do not give their guys the platitude to do that. Because your job security is tenuous at best. Handful of bad decisions like that make me look bad, and out the door you go. So I don't think it's going to be as move around.
Okay.
So Joshua Penix in the chat just said Darren Lee's name. Oh, I didn't need a reason to drink tonight, but I'm glad you gave me one.
Darren Lee?
Oh, God, that name makes me angry.
Tell me the story.
That was the linebacker out of Ohio State the Jets took in the first round. Yeah, he runs like a 4.38 40. Yeah, the problem is he couldn't tackle the cup I'm drinking out of. Kansas City Chiefs fans, hey, you can say it. It's fine. We traded him to you for a bag of peanuts. We got to ride in the Nutmobile, and you still got screwed on that one.
When was this?
He was in that 2016 draft. By the way, that was the last time I missed a Jets pick in a draft. I was on a date. That date did not end well.
When you missed seeing them draft the person?
I watched like the first 15 picks, and then somehow I was a dumb young man. And I left the television to go on said date. I found out they took Darren Lee right about the time the drink showed up. Then I had a bunch. Like, I had one 7 or 8 times. Didn't go so great.
I don't even remember that name. Darren Lee, linebacker
Chiefs
out
Nation,
of Ohio State.
Trust me, he remembers it.
Wow. Okay.
Ugh. There's a fireball with my name on it. I'm going to write Darren Lee on the glass.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is I get why I don't remember this, because this was the draft where I heard Vernon Hargrave's name get called at 11, and I immediately just turned off and went, you know what? Screw football. I hate football now. I hated him so much.
Yeah, he's a Gator. Oof. I hated that class.
Oof.
That was a class that I went, cool. That was the reason that and don't quote me on this, I think that was why I scheduled the date. As for whatever, I think she was a nurse, and she couldn't go out that weekend. So I went, hey, screw it. We'll go on day one of the draft, because after the top 10 picks, it doesn't really matter.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
The roof is the most important part of the home, and this month ESPN Asheville and Balkan Roofing are giving one away free of charge. Through April, go to ESPNAVL.com and click on the Balkan Roofing's Roofing for a Reason. Follow the link to nominate a homeowner in need of a new roof and why they should be our winner. At the end of the month, one iHeart Asheville winner will be selected. Make your nominations again at ESPNAVL.com. Roofing for a Reason with Balkan Roofing.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Not one based on the driver who treats the highway like a racetrack and the shoulder like a passing lane. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
We're back counting down to kickoff. Let's look at today's 3 keys to premium pre-gaming with Beast Unleashed, presented by Monster Brewing. Number 1, beat the heat.
Unleash the beast with bold, familiar flavors, 0 caffeine, and 0 sugar.
Number 2, running the option.
There's 4 to choose from: White Haze, Peach Perfect, Scary Berries, and my personal favorite, Mean Green.
And number 3, at 6% ABV, Max Protect.
Always drink responsibly, and you must be 21 or over.
Beast Unleashed, available at your local retailer.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
I hate you for sending me down the path of the 2016 NFL draft.
Oh, isn't it great? Don't you just love going down the glory days?
Ugh.
One of my favorite things to do is go to NFL draft history. You ever been on that website?
Probably.
It tells you it's a great tool to look at guys that your team has drafted, guys that certain schools. I will go down rabbit holes that last way too long by just going to Team New York Jets. And first name that I see, let's go with Dexter McDougal. Jay Samara. Oh, my God, I chose a horrible year. Best player in that class was Quincy Enunwa.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had a guy that your team drafted, not a first-rounder, can't be a first-rounder, that you went, that guy's going to be a dog, and you fell in love with him, and then he was just a total turd?
Let me see here.
This feels like a threadbare Thursday question.
Yes, it does.
Of just a 3-hour therapy session about guys like, Denzel Mims. God, I remember how happy I was. Because I had been screaming, how are you letting him fall this far? Oh, because he's bad. And then they traded him.
Not a first-round player?
Yes.
Mason Foster was one that I was really high on. And I think he was good for a year.
He was.
And then no more. And then he just kind of disappeared. That first year, I remember being really good and going, yeah, I was right. And then I weren't. And, because here's the thing. Every time I've felt good about a guy, that intoxicated about a guy, they've been good. Like one of the guys I got more excited about than anybody else that they ever drafted was Levante David. I absolutely loved him.
I wasn't around. I didn't know you at that time, but I remember you with Vita Vea. And if you were more high on Levante David than you were on Vita Vea,
I was. I had to talk myself into Vita because of course that was the draft that I wanted. What was his name? Derwin James. I wanted Derwin James in that draft, and we passed him up for Vita. I was a little disappointed. And really, I was just glad we didn't end up with Baker Mayfield. And then we ended up with him anyway.
There you go.
Hey, we went down that path anyway. I remember getting really excited about Chris Godwin in the third round of that draft. So there haven't been a lot, but there have been a few. And that 2016 draft in the second round, Roberto Aguayo, kicker out of Florida State.
Oh, God, I'll never forget that as long as I live. And look, I thought he was going to be a great kicker. It just didn't go that way.
Mm-hmm. It's probably one of the worst drafts we've ever had, and that's saying a lot for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are not very good at drafting. You went Vernon Hargreaves in the first round, and then you had Noah Spence in the second round, and then you traded up for a second round pick to get a kicker, who ended up being atrocious. Out of the league in a year and a half.
Oh, he was genuinely awful.
Could not hit water if he fell off a bridge. However, he had, at the time, I believe, the record for the most makes in college history. Didn't he?
I think that might be
or
right.
Percentage. He had a record.
I know he was up there because he didn't miss. You count on one hand a number of times he missed at Florida.
I think he missed one field goal the entire time.
Automatic.
Mm-hmm. And
but I'll be honest with you. People that don't understand what it is we love about the draft, that's probably the best way I can explain it. It's a mixture of the kid in you, because you remember when you were kids and Christmas came around and you saw all the boxes under the tree and you had no idea what was in them. And it was, as long as there was still gift wrapping on that present, you felt like anything was possible. That could be a bike, in spite of the fact it was this big. Mm-hmm. Didn't matter. Could be anything. It could be any toy. It could be the toy that was going to change your life. And the only time that I get that excitement is at draft time. The only problem is that I'm also a Jet fan. And so there were often times that I opened that beautifully wrapped box and Mom and Dad were staring at me, and I opened it and there was Mr. Hanky sitting in the box because it was a big poo because it was Ja'Kai Polite.
Ja'Kai Polite. Or Jabari, what was his name?
Nope.
No. I won't say it. He still won't say it to this day.
No, sir. Christian Hackenberg.
Yeah.
Jordan Jenkins. I could do this forever.
But we all can, and that's the joy.
Don't. We all can, me. Okay, you don't have the Devin Smiths, the D Milners. Don't.
Vernon Hargrave doesn't.
Vernon Hargrave
come close.
Vernon Hargrave couldn't play dead in CSI. I get it. He was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll see your Vernon Hargrave. I'll raise you one D Milner. Checkmate.
Checkmate.
D. Milner couldn't cover a table with a tablecloth. And he had this weird condition that every time he put on cleats, something broke. Mm-hmm. And it was a bone or a joint or a ligament.
Mark Barron.
That was not a good one.
He didn't even get to play defensive back in the NFL. They went, we're taking a corner, and he's a linebacker now.
Stephen Hill.
Oh, that's a good one.
You want to keep playing? Who we took over Alshon Jeffrey.
Josh Freeman.
God, I don't know that I've ever told you this story. That was before we did this show together.
Mm-hmm.
I specifically remember that Mark Sanchez, Josh Freeman draft. That was one of the first years that I went, I'm going all in before I did anything in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching Josh Freeman, and I could not stop thinking, that dude looks like both a categoric bust
and a New York Jet through and through. Like, that kid was born to let me down.
Mm-hmm.
And then we traded up and got Mark Sanchez, and I went, yeah, we got a quarterback. Oh, you suck too.
I remember begging. I was hoping, yes, give me Josh Freeman. I love that big linebacker-looking dude to play quarterback. Let's go. And then I got exactly what I asked for. He was terrible.
Tyson Carter said I got a lot of socks as a kid at Christmas. That's not true. I had nobody ever believes this. I had a wonderful childhood.
No.
It's
just because you had an atypical childhood.
I had a wonderful childhood.
And all of the things that we experienced as children. And you go, we didn't do that in my house.
It's because most of what you say, because most of the things you say you did as a child make me sound like you were raised in Guantanamo Bay. We went out in the snow and played for 7 hours and got hypothermia. You leave out that word at the end. We built snowmen and chucked snowballs at each other with rocks in it.
That's right.
That sounds like a prison riot to me. I'm good on every bit of that. I missed nothing that I wanted that I didn't want to miss.
Mm-hmm.
I had a wonderful childhood. See, where I took the path less traveled is that I spent many years dealing with the public. And I dealt with the public in a time and an era where people, in large part, lost their damn minds. And you deal with stupid people for long enough, and eventually you don't have much of a desire to deal with people anymore. Because I sold many trinkets over my time.
Mm-hmm.
People had questions about those trinkets, and I had to answer them. And it made me a cynical, angry man. The one that you see before you today.
Yeah.
Kind of like a star player for the Dallas Cowboys that we need to talk about.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
I've been moving along through this Tuesday, and so far hasn't been terrible. We'll get a little light rain or some showers this afternoon. 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch if you get hit a couple of times. 65. Tonight, a few showers around 55. And some scattered showers tomorrow, probably more dry than wet. High 70 degrees, best chance in the afternoon, and a better chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night into Thursday. Thursday's high 70 degrees. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Silk. Feel plenty good. Shop wherever you find groceries. Silk's delicious plant-based beverages help bring a daily dose of goodness to help you feel plenty good. They are rich in calcium and a good source of vitamins A and D to support the health of you and your family. Shop wherever you find groceries.
Careers in short-term rehabilitation and long-term care require individuals who seek purpose, both professionally and personally. Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation sets the standard for excellence by hiring people who want to make a lasting difference. We encourage you to join the compassionate team where opportunities are more than jobs. They're careers with purpose. Are you ready to begin your journey? Explore our openings at sanstonehealth.com/careers.
This selection year, there are so many issues that divide us.
Which candidate will wind up with the task of trying to unite us?
Join us as the future unfolds on News Radio 570 WWNC,
Western North Carolina's election station.
People are talking about Summit Dental in Asheville. Just check out their Google reviews. One patient writes, "I'll start by saying I really hate going to the dentist. My anxiety is always through the roof and I'm always so nervous. However, Summit Dental may be the first place that my anxiety is actually not going through the roof. The staff that works at Summit are an incredible team. They're kind, knowledgeable, and funny. I left feeling confident that we have a plan to help restore my teeth and get me on track to a better smile." Find out more about Summit Dental at AshevilleSummitDental.com or call 828-277-6868.
Did you know Ingalls only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingalls. Low prices. Love the savings.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy, and it's time for the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes!
Yeah, don't do crimes. I believe I told a Texas story a couple of days ago where my overall theme was, if you're going to do crimes, maybe not do crimes in Texas. That may not be the best place for these. There is a young man in Texas, 22 years old. His name was Rashad Scott. And Rashad Scott and others had come up with a scheme to help with the big problem that is gripping our country, the immigration crisis. Now, they were just doing their citizenry duty. Citizenly duty? Re-duty. I don't know.
Say duty one more time.
Duty.
There you
go. Anyway, so they decided they were going to help out, right? Help out the immigrants who need a little bit of help these days, because they're not getting enough of it, Lord knows. There's a thing called a U visa, Jeremy. Do you know what a U visa is?
Not a clue.
Now, a U visa...
Is it different than a me visa?
Is U non-immigrant status, which is set aside for victims of certain crimes who have suffered mental or physical abuse and are helpful to law enforcement or government officials in the investigation. So, if you're the victim of a crime and you're an immigrant, not of legal status, you can help the cops with their investigation and they give you a visa. So this guy and other conspirators were staging fake crimes in the state of Texas against these immigrants so then that they could file for the immigrant status. The problem is, when not everybody at the gas station is in on your little game, some good Samaritan may just come along and you will have FAFO'd. And that's exactly what happened to Rashawn. Because Rashawn, did you notice that I said he was a 22-year-old man living in the state of Texas? Because he held up two people at a gas station. Another dude came along and went, "Oh, no, you're not robbing people at my gas station," and bang, bang, you're dead. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
You come to Texas, commit a crime, we will kill you back.
We will kill you back. Wow.
My story is from Redwood City, California. It's about two high-level executives in Coltrane.
Coltrane?
Which is not, nope. Coltrane was a jazz musician. Mm-hmm. This is Caltrain? It's like a construction company.
Oh, okay.
So, two high-level individuals, Joseph Vincent Navarro, Seth Andrew Worden, both in their 60s. They have been charged with misappropriation of public funds.
Okay.
They were high-level executives in Coltrane. They got a contract to work on a couple train stations, including the one in Burlingame. They did some construction stuff. They did some additions. They also made two weird little additions that nobody discovered for 15 years.
Wow.
They built apartments for themselves inside the train station. One of them was living in the apartment that he built inside the train station. And they did all of it with use of taxpayer funds because the taxpayers paid for the remodel of the train station.
Yep.
Now, there's a couple things that I don't really understand here. If you're living in a place, how did you, I'll just go with a couch. How did you get a couch through a train station and nobody ever noticed it? There was a refrigerator in one of these. How did you get a refrigerator into a hidden apartment that nobody knew about for this long? The other thing that bothers me is that they approved $42,000 in building expenses. They basically remodeled 2 office spaces into a small apartment, and then they sealed off the door so it didn't look like there was anything back there. They had an entrance. I don't know where the entrance was. It didn't say it in the story. How in the world did you remodel a place for $42,000 and it cost $750,000 to build a house? I mean, I get that you were trying to stay off the books.
Right.
I get it. Apparently, all the work was kept under $3,000 in itemized expenses because anything over that, they would have had to have justified. So they just kept putting in little $2,500 charges that nobody ever asked about. And if you want to know why the government scares the heeber-jeebers out of me, that's why. As long as you don't go over $3,000, you're going to rob us blind.
Yeah, well, and $2,500 in paint, we'll buy that on Tuesday. $2,500 in nails, we'll get that on Wednesday.
It's a lot of nails.
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
Yes.
We're in a Biden America.
It's at least 6 now.
I was like $4.
Oh, man.
I'm dumbfounded, and I'm not shocked that would happen in the state of California.
No.
And now the Redwood City Council is trying to use those apartments as housing for our houseless neighbors.
Indeed. Every roof matters, right?
I guarantee you, if I say that if we hang on this story much longer, they're going to be building these in buildings in Asheville. Going, that sounds like a perfect solution.
Yeah, don't give them any ideas.
Don't give them ideas.
No, don't do that. Hey, speaking of every roof matters, go over to ESPNAVL.com. We got roofing for a reason with our friends at Balkan Roofing. Just go over to ESPNAVL.com, click on the contest. Once you're through, then you get to nominate somebody, and Balkan Roofing is going to help out one recipient with a brand new roof, absolutely free of charge. It's their way to show the community that, you know what, we want to do some good. And there are a lot of people that are struggling right now, and so if you know somebody who needs a new roof on their house, will never be able to afford that on their own, go to ESPNAVL.com, click on the contest link. When you go through, you're going to be asked to give a reason why this person should be the winner. And at the end of the month, we will be picking someone from our iHeart Asheville listening area to win. Balkan Roofing, roofing for a reason. Go to ESPNAVL.com. Make your nominations today. With the Draftmas season continuing to roll on here, Jeremy, the NFL draft, as you said, is just, 16 days away?
Oh, Draftmas tree, oh, Draftmas tree. How lovely are thy Draftmas tree.
We continue to follow all of the craziness, all the rumors and the mock drafts and such. What was the thing about Micah Parsons that you said we needed to talk about?
Well, there's a report from Shan Sharif of 105.3 The Fan that has stated that some people in the organization of the Dallas Cowboys would be smiling or breathing a sigh of relief, quote, if Parsons was gone.
Really?
Because his antics have, quote, worn thin among some members of the organization, which, of course, led and I did not tell you this story before I brought this up. What former Cowboy do you think came to his defense?
Michael Irvin.
Nope, but you're not far off. Think a little more recently.
Dez Bryant.
Bingo. Because Dez Bryant cannot help but stick his nose into things that it does not belong in. And we've got to smear the guy before we give him the bag. Let me make this as perfectly clear as I can. If there is any organization in all of the NFL that can put up with somebody having some, I'll say, questionable antics off the field, it would be the Dallas Cowboys. Need I reference that you had a player on a Super Bowl team get pulled over in a truck with 600 pounds of drugs in it? I don't think it's a smear campaign, bruh. I don't believe that's what we're doing.
Bruh.
This is the best defensive player in the NFL. If it's to this point, and look, I can tell you the podcast runs a little afoul of the organization. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you a dirty little secret. Any player, and yes, I'm including the two that you think I'm talking about, that does a podcast, the team does not like it. Mm-hmm. I promise you.
Absolutely.
And I don't care if it gets to new heights that leads to you being a much bigger star. They don't like it. I promise you.
No.
Not because you're upstaging the organization, but because you're doing something, especially during the season, that is taking your attention away from the game. Now, if you do that, and then maybe, let's say, you're a little quirky, which I have always heard that Micah Parsons was, go back to the draft. If you remember, I never had any questions about the talent. I did have some questions about the person. And you start putting all these pieces together, and you go, not going to say I know what's going on here, but I can say that there is something amiss. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Look, I don't know that this is a real shocker for anybody, but yeah, teams don't like it when you have your own voice. They don't like the fact that you have that, that proclivity to talk outside of school, basically. And when they know they can't control you, of course they're going to be upset about that.
It's not having your own voice. I don't like the way you phrase that.
Then what is it?
So we do a podcast every day. I'm not in any way telling you that Micah Parsons or any of these other people is putting the level of time into their podcast that you and I do. We do a radio show that then becomes a podcast. We also do a lot of things outside of that, which take a lot of what? Time. They take a lot of time. I don't want you taking your time to things like this. I also don't want you taking to Twitter or Instagram or your podcast to air out your grievances with the franchise. That has nothing to do with you having your own voice. You want to have your own voice, you've got a cause or something like that on your own time, I don't care. Do it. A lot of these guys do it. These guys do all kinds of things that are having a voice. The problem is when that voice is turned at the franchise, because that becomes a problem. Because now, instead of going to a reporter and us having some kind of ability to control the news cycle, because at the end of the day, Adam Schefter got in trouble for this one time with the Washington Commanders. Because, Mr. Editor, how do you feel about this before I print it? It happens all over this country, and it happens every single day. Mm-hmm. You know why it happens? Because they don't have to let you in the room. They don't have to approve your credential. They don't have to put you at the podium. They don't have to give you a good spot where you can get film of these things to put on your telecast. They can shut your career down, and they'll do it in a heartbeat. I've seen it happen. Mm-hmm. I have a little bit of say of, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, of what happens with the Dallas Morning News. I have a little bit of say of what happens in television and with actual credentialed, legit journalists. You know what I don't have any control over? Micah Parsons getting a couple brewskis in him and deciding to go on air and complain about Jerry Jones and complain about the Dallas Cowboys and make a big old story that will hover over my franchise. And Des Bryant coming to your assist did nothing to help that.
No.
Not one little bit.
No. It's not hard to figure out.
Nope. And I mean, look, I'm going to say this pretty point blank. Who's the greatest defensive player you ever saw?
Aaron Donald.
Not my answer. Good, try again. No, not the one I was looking for. Not the one I was looking for.
Lawrence Taylor.
There you go. I was about to say his signature is in this room twice. It was well known that Lawrence Taylor had a drug problem. Virtually the entire time he was in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
There were some kerfuffles behind closed doors. It wasn't always great. The Giants put up with it. You know why? Because he was the greatest defensive player of that era and top handful of all time. If it's so bad, and I don't know that it's so bad. I'm taking a report from somebody that's way closer to the Dallas Cowboys than I am. If it's this bad that you're willing to put these things out there, it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad.
Which makes me think it's got to be something more.
Oh, no doubt.
It can't just be, oh, well, he's a loudmouth. He's got a podcast. He's got a, he's got a Twitter. It's more than that.
No doubt.
There's something else here.
Well, the Twitter and the podcast are the things I can defend.
Mm-hmm.
Let this become a legit grievance, a legit problem where Dallas would actually move on. Do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't. I think it's way more likely that they get Micah Parsons in a room and go, hey, you want to be the highest paid defensive player in the league? You can do it with the most popular team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to have some corrective actions.
Right. You're gonna have to start sharing everything that crops up in your dome with everybody.
And there could be a lot of things.
And not just the podcast. Apparently it's behind closed doors. Apparently
Mm-hmm.
it's in interactions with other people in, teammates in the locker room, with coaches. I don't know how far it goes, but the story makes it sound like he's standoffish with a lot of people.
Quirky is the word that I have been told about him over the last handful of years. He's a little quirky.
I was saying, that's a nice way to say.
Weird.
I was going to go
jerk.
Yeah, a-hole-ish.
Yeah. It could be a lot of things.
Right.
But the fact that this story has gotten this far, there may be nothing to it. And it may die on the vine. And if it does, I would wager you'll probably see Micah Parsons with a record-breaking contract before September rolls around. If that doesn't happen, I just want you to remember that this story happened. Because it'll come back up.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to kill this is to make him not a lame duck. Because right now that's what he is. We all know he will never hit the open market, ever.
Right.
But you got to get the contract done, or this story won't go away. And if any franchise should know this, it's Dallas. Because we did this with Dak Prescott for what felt like, 28 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was year after year after year after year. And frankly, we're still doing it. We're still doing it. You want to know why the Dallas Cowboys have been borderline irrelevant for the last 25 years? Because stories like this don't get killed in-house. It's not great being America's team. I've long said that is the dumbest name ever. They were America's team in 1975. They were America's team in 1985. They were America's team in 1995. And then America changed.
Mm-hmm.
And now America doesn't have a team, and America doesn't need a team. But you still treat it like you are America's team. Like everything that happens belongs in the gossip columns and on the back page of your sports section. It doesn't. We have watched 2 dynasties in the last 25 years, and you know what both of those teams had in common? They were real quiet. Hey, what does Clark Hunt sound like when he talks?
No clue.
You have no idea. Not one clue. But I can imitate Jerry Jones, and you know what I'm doing immediately.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for that. There's a reason that they have Super Bowl trophies in the last 25 years, and you don't. And this is really just another example of that.
It's kind of hard to think that Micah Parsons would ever get to a point where a team would say, no, I'm good. Is this the start of something bigger? Or is this just one of those stories that you throw out and go, somebody's making a mountain out of a molehill? You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
What are you doing?
I'm training for the new Ultimate Dash Scratch-Offs. I could get a chance to dash through a warehouse full of prizes.
That explains the shopping cart.
Plus, I could win up to $2 million in cash.
And that explains the tuxedo.
I'm chafing.
Feel the rush with new Ultimate Dash Scratch-Offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 3.78. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
The wait is over. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of NASCAR, is now live in North Carolina. Now you can legally bet on all your favorite sports anytime, anywhere, right here in the Tar Heel State with DraftKings. For a limited time, new customers who sign up with the promo code WPEK and bet $5 will receive $200 instantly in bonus bets. DraftKings has the best features, including same-game parlays, player props, and more, with fast and easy payouts right at your fingertips. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now using code WPEK and bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code WPEK. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC. NASCAR is not a sponsor of this promotion and used under license.
Introducing Tanzite Stone Tile Flooring, a game changer in the tile industry. Say goodbye to the trade-off between durability and easy installation with Tanzite's revolutionary indoor-outdoor stone tile. Visit Tanzite.com to see how our tile is installed without concrete or mortar. Instead, our innovative rubber gasket system connects the tiles together. Each tile coming pre-assembled, you simply grab one and place it. No expertise needed. At Tanzite.com, you can see how our foam back tiles contour to cover any existing floor while insulating against sound and cold. Beautiful and versatile. Tanzite tile adapts to indoor or outdoor use, from kitchens to patios, on concrete basements or wooden decks. All with the durability of stone that's guaranteed for life. Witness this innovative product yourself and order a sample today at Tanzite.com. That's TANZITE.com.
At Ingalls, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingalls. Low prices. Love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy, and today marks the first day of the off season for college basketball.
Oh. I mean, the memories of the last 3 weeks will just, they'll stick with me forever.
It's all over now, though. There's no more fun to be had.
Oh, that's not even kind of true, because we've still got NASCAR, which is an official betting partner of DraftKings, and you can wager on that. You've still got basketball that's not in the college ranks, and you can bet it all now anywhere in the state from your phone. For a limited time, new customers who sign up with DraftKings Sportsbook using our promo code WPEK and bet $5 will receive $200 instantly in bonus bets. Whether you prefer player props, taking winners in NASCAR, same-game parlays, you can do it all with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now using code WPEK. Bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code WPEK. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only, new customers only. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit wagering and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC.
And that's how that's done, ladies and gentlemen. There is money to still be made on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. All your favorite sports, anytime, anywhere. I've been on a heater here lately, wagering Baltimore Orioles baseball.
They have not let me down yet, but I don't think I can wager against the Red Sox.
Gamble with your head,
with them.
not your heart.
I don't want to do it.
That's the number one rule of wagering. The number two rule of wagering. If you don't ever gamble on your eating money, and you don't ever plan on eating with your gambling money, you'll live a really happy life.
We'll be back with you tomorrow at noon right here in the Ingalls studio on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
I've been moving along through this Tuesday, and so far hasn't been terrible. We'll get a little light rain or some showers this afternoon. 1/10 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch if you can hit a couple of times. 65. Tonight, a few showers around 55. And some scattered showers tomorrow, probably more dry than wet. High 70 degrees, best chance in the afternoon, and a better chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow night into Thursday. Thursday's high 70 degrees. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by UPM Raflatech.
Looking for a new career, great benefits, a safe work environment, and on-the-job training? Meet UPM Raflatech, a global manufacturer of label materials, now hiring in Mills River and Fletcher. Feel good about where you work. Learn more at rafjob.com. That's RAFJOB.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man!
The future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution in pain management we've seen in decades, regenerative medicine. If you are tired of achy joints, if your joint pain is keeping you from doing what you love, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking natural biologics using your body's own power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkupp. Dr. Scheinkupp is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get you relief with a needle, not a knife. Call QC Kinetics now to learn more about some exciting options. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Phone 828-333-9517 in Asheville and in Greenville.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.